Ahoy! Today we're gonna make a tier list, and I'm not alone, as you can see above me, is Venenu. Mid laner for the Olympus Bolts, correct? And
Correct.
connoisseur of weird builds, interesting builds, and Twitter breakfast poster.
That's correct.
And he will be joining us. Last time we had Flareboot and Wraithen. They are absent this time, so I figured we're just gonna start from scratch with the tier list because it doesn't really make sense to go over a tier list that I made with someone else. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through the more interesting gods first again, and I'm always going to put them in the SPL tier here first, and then we move them wherever they need to go. Ven, do you want to quickly introduce yourself as well?
Hi, I am Venenu. I play for the Olympus Bolt in the mid lane. I have previously played competitive for E United in Season 4, won Worlds with them. Played for SSG in Season 5, Splice in Season 6, and Renegades for Season 7. All mid lane, and now I'm currently on Olympus Bolts. And yeah, that's me.
Do you want to plug the in-game stuff?
Oh yeah, so in the patch of 8.3, which comes out this Tuesday, there'll be in-game cosmetics for the Olympus Bolts or SPL teams, and 100% of the profit goes to the players. So mostly support us, of course, but support all the pro players. You know, we're all there to give nice competition, and yeah, that is it.
And speaking of 8.3, that's what we're going to be looking at here. So we are currently still on 8.2 bonus balance. We're going to go mainly by that, but in the end, we'll also have a look at the changes that are coming and try to make some minor predictions at least and see how things go. The tier list is going to be for ranked/casual. There's not really much competitive going on yet except SCC basically, and yeah. That's not really a concern for us right here, right now. So we're just gonna jump into it here. Do you have any gods that you want to start out with where you just have like that are right on your mind before we get started, the tiers real quick. So SS completely broken, ban every game. S your strongest gods, A plus slightly above average, A average, B below average or situational, C generally bad, and then SPL tier, or you could call it pro tier or whatever you want to call it, are the gods that are technically very good in the hands of very good players, but not good in the hands of the majority of players. Examples of that would be Persephone, who's just always been like very strong and very ban-worthy, but most players that pick her up don't really do well with her, unless they were very experienced with her.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have any gods that you want to start out with that you have on your mind where you really like, this one needs to go here?
I was actually gonna talk about Persephone.
Okay, yeah.
Funny enough.
Let's go.
I think going into Worlds of last year, speaking of that, is that I think people thought that she was actually going to be like really, really good. Mm-hmm. But like the more I guess like the pro players played against her, and I think ranked players have also pretty much got a strong feeling of it, is that like she's like a very, very vulnerable character to be dope. And like in ranked and stuff, she's like kind of really, really bad in my experience of playing with her. Like she's like a really, really hard character to work because in the current meta, I feel like there's a lot of divers, and the game pace is around, I would say, 25 minutes, 30 minutes. And by that time, a lot of times with like Sun Wukong and like King Arthur's and stuff, they can kind of just hard get on her and kill her really fast, and she can't really do too much. So I think people still think she's like really OP, and she can be really OP in like certain comps, but I think she's like right now in like the middle of the pack of mids right now, because it's very, very easy to counter her when like there's been so much practice against her and everything like that, where I think she's kind of just in the middle of the pack right now. I think there's like better gods than her due to that.
Yeah,
that she has so many counters and there's so many like gods that dive right now in the current meta and how fast paced it is that she can't really like get going. Her laning phase is really strong, but once she gets like mid game and people start like grouping, it's just so hard to play that character. Like it's just so hard to like allow her to live. But her late game is like really, really good if you can get to like 35 minutes. But yeah, I don't know. I've always that character is like so 50-50 in my opinion.
This is gonna start out very controversial already. I can see.
Yeah.
Gonna upset a lot of people. I mean, the data backs you up as well, right? Statistically, just to look into that briefly, her ban rate has gone down quite a bit. She's like on 50%-ish pick and ban rate, which is still a lot, don't get me wrong, but not as much as it used to be. Her win rate even in Diamond, it's still like below 50%. Then in Masters goes up to 51, 52. It's not crazy, at least. Where would you place her based on that?
I think with gods, like if it's at the very top end and ranked, in my opinion, I think gods that are so prominent right now, like Fenrir can just walk right through her ult. With his ult, he can stick on her really easily and just kind of like force everything. Rat in the jungle as well, pretty prominent god that can kind of just stick on her. Sobek's really good into her, and a lot of people are playing Sobek.
Yeah.
Kuzenbo's always been a good character into her because constant interruption. She can't really like do much. Camazotz is being played in 3 different roles right now, and it's really hard for like her to deal with that because he kind of just ignores all of her damage anyway. And another thing is with Ansile, I don't know if it's like 100. It doesn't happen 100% of the time, but if you see it on yourself and jump, the Ansile proc can actually stop your dash sometimes.
Yeah.
And with Ansile being so prominent, it actually stops a lot of her combo. And I think since Ansile is like bottom like almost every single jungler right now, I really think she's kind of just like, I don't know, maybe like I don't know. I don't know. She's like really good when she is good. But like with Ansile being so prominent and dive characters being really, really prominent now, especially with like Apollo being picked all the time, Chernobog's picked pretty often. Dan's can ult right through her. I don't know. I think she just dies like really, really easily. I've also seen a new thing that's being started is a Wheelix just hard countering her. But a lot of people are just picking a Wheelix into her. And every time like you just sit in the mid camp wall, you just ult her over the wall and you just kill her whenever she jumps.
Yeah.
So yeah, just that's where I would put her. I don't know. What's your opinion on that?
I'm just gonna nod this one off, dude. I don't play enough mid to make a judgment here. So I'm just gonna leave this one to you. If you want to put her in A, I know it's gonna upset some people, but
yeah, it is gonna for sure.
But you know, a little bit of controversy, you know.
Yeah, and also healers are really good. Just point that out. Like Aphro right now, Chang'e, Hell, all 3 gods are really, really good into Perse.
Yes.
So
I mean,
I just want to point that out as well.
In that context,
there's a lot of prominent things.
Oh god, I got a cat jumping on me. In that context, it's worth mentioning that anti-heal got reverted on the patch that we're playing. But even after that, the healers are still doing pretty well. It's not like they suddenly just dropped off the face of the earth. So even with that in mind, they're there. We'll get to them. Okay, Persephone A it is. Hot start.
Yeah.
Got another one of those?
Not really, no. I don't really got anyone else in the tank. Oh, I think Guan is the best character in the game.
Oh, yeah. Guan, interesting enough, didn't even get any nerfs, right? When the other healers all got some nerfs, at least to some degree. Where is he? Where am I?
Right next to Gib, right there in the center.
Oh, there, yeah.
I think this god is the best god in the game right now.
I would actually put him SS.
Yeah, I kind of think he's the best god in the game.
Yeah, I think
he's guard.
It's so interesting because it's not just like often when you have like a really, really strong god, it's like either a perception thing or a performance thing. But with Guan, it's both. Like he is the best god statistically, and people say he's the best god.
Yeah, you have like Cad Shield, Genji's breastplate that all literally benefit him in every way possible.
Yeah,
and every heal that he hits reduces his cooldowns, his 2s. I mean, he literally gets 2 ults in every single team fight. It's just like OP in every way, and he's a healer.
And he uses so many starters as well. Like the upgrades are so good for him as well. It's just
for sure.
It's funny because he was never really fundamentally changed or anything. Like he was over time when he was really underperforming, but then he was just average. But then through meta shifts, item changes, guard changes, he just kind of went up and up and up and up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to face Guan ever. Like not even if it's not solo, like even if it's a support Guan or jungle Guan, it's still super frustrating to deal with.
For sure.
I always had a bit of an issue with healing tanks anyways, with like strong healing tanks. Like that's why I used to really hate Tyr, because you basically have to build at least 2 counter items. You have to build some sort of pen and some sort of anti-heal. And Guan heals not only himself but his team, so
Yep, that's true.
It's that on steroids. Okay. I want to throw in a one that was very controversial on the last tier list. That is Izanami. So Izanami is one of those gods where if you go into competitive, she's just very easy to single out, I would say. Her escape is kind of lackluster. And I know that on the last tier list, we placed her relatively high because she got these buffs to her basic attacks. And that was one of the most controversial decisions that we made. But since then, she's actually been doing quite well. She still has like not the highest pick rate, but she's at like a 16% pick and ban rate now. Second highest win rate after Apollo, who we can get to later. And I think Izanami is maybe not quite as high as we rated her, but I would say Izanami is around A+ for rank specifically, because she has such strong early game and split push potential that maybe the late game doesn't even matter that much.
Right.
What do you think?
I think Izanami is like a really good ranked god in my opinion. I think for cat, if you want to win rank games, I mean you can just pick Izanami, you can kind of just run it down.
Yeah.
But like I guess for rank purposes of winning and like casuals for winning, and you just kind of want to just slam dunk a lane and like constantly invade and kind of push your lead for that, I think she's really strong for that. But at the same time, I think like for a rank, for example, like first picking her.
Oh no, I wouldn't.
Like if you're like first picking, you're first picking her just like win rank games and stuff like that. I think it's pretty easy to counter in most cases. For like SPL purposes, there's usually strats that come out for worlds anyway of Izanami starting to be picked up, just because you can kind of guarantee winning the lane, even though she's deemed as a bad god to probably most of the competitive scene. But she's picked for just like the guaranteed pressure purposes, kind of just like old Freya, where you just shoot through the wave and you get the wave pressure anyway, because you can't just like sit there and tank the autos. So she's really good for that purpose. But I think she's kind of just like in the middle of the pack. Like she wins rank games that like people don't really know how to play against her, but she also just loses rank games that people know how to play against her. So she's definitely just a weird character, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's hard to place her, I think.
I'm gonna make the call here and go with A+, because at the moment she sits at 58 in plat, 55 in diamond, and 57 win rate in masters. So I think she's like enough above average in terms of win rate that I would say she's good enough for A+.
She's definitely the ranked win god, that is for sure.
Yeah. I just mentioned him, Apollo. That's a fun one. Apollo got a nerf, or gets a nerf, but that's just to his ult. It's just reducing the scaling of his ult by 40%, which is impactful for sure, but I don't think it's gonna like fundamentally change what he does, because he still has very strong lane clear, especially. He still has his passive. He still has very good escape potential.
Hardest hitting autos.
Yeah, like still highest win rate as well.
The global pressure in ranked is like really, really good. There's like lane counters to him for competitive, but he doesn't. If you use him properly, he can be like really, really good. But he can also be like, it can also feel really weird to play him sometimes. So, but I have seen him played in 3 different roles.
Yeah.
And it works. Actually, 4 different roles, and it works kind of every time. So I don't think he is as good as Guan.
No, but I would say S tier. I would say like
I think he's like right there with Guan.
Yeah,
for like a different reason.
Would you say he's SS or?
I mean, he is kind of permabanned every game because no one wants to face him, because he kind of just. I mean, you can like take a team fight, and he can just like hard split push every single time.
Yeah.
Or he can bait somebody over, and then you just fly over to the team fight and you win the team fight.
Yeah.
So I think he's like right there with Guan, but for a different reason, I guess.
Okay.
He's a frustrating god to play against in ranked.
I'm down to put him there as well. I think.
Yeah, he's kind of permanent. Like all my ranked games, I've seen him open like 4 times.
Yeah.
So
I think even if you are someone who knows how to counter him, it's just something you don't want to deal with, because you can't rely on the entire team to know how to counter him.
For sure.
It's just sits at 94% pick and ban rate and ranked, and I'm assuming that that lower number is from lower ranks probably, where he's maybe not quite as much man, but yeah. Definitely, I think he needs more nerfs than what he got. I think he needs nerfs to maybe his laning potential, maybe his one that maybe revert that part, or maybe his escape potential, or like his old mana cost or something, so he can't fly around as long as he wants. Somewhere along those lines. Okay. Give me some more mages. How do you feel about Chang'e?
I think she. So I used to think she was the best healer, and she probably still is. Out of all the healers, she still is probably the best healer. Just because she's safer than hell, and she has more pressure than Aphra, but she has less pressure than hell. And her ult kind of can be game winning, like really, really fast. She's just another. The problem with Chang'e, I guess kind of all the healers have the problem, is that the recovery is really, really bad. So if you can get them behind where they kind of have to play catch up, it's kind of really hard to play. But right now, from what I'm seeing, people are going. I think the most successful Chang'e build I've seen is like Rod Boots, probably Deso, Staff, and Mirrodin. And it's kind of insane, I'm not gonna lie. Like you can get like ult in a mid, you can be full HP and you can get ult in a mid, and then you get like double one or double three, and you're really, really safe as Chang'e anyway.
Yeah.
And also her blink Chang'e ults are really, really good. And Chang'e's good into most of the characters. She's probably like she's good into Perse, and she's, in my opinion, better than Perse, just doesn't have the same pressure as Perse. So, and she's a healer, and I think healers are still really good.
She's just to back that up. She's still top 10 in win rate and ranked as well, because
yeah,
I mean most healers are though.
Yeah. See, the thing is like Tainted Steel is like really hard to buy because solo laners want different items, and right now with mids going like Sundering Axe and stuff like that to kill tanks, you don't really see it too often.
Actually, I'm wrong. She's not top 10 anymore. I think Afro still is, but in Plat Plus she's not. But Tainted Steel, worth mentioning that that's getting a buff next patch as well to give it some more tanky stats, so it's at least a little bit better in early, even though it's definitely hard to buy, no matter where you go.
I think she's probably just A plus, just due to her being a healer. And honestly, she can force beads really easy. Without even blinking. Like she can close a gap really easily and just ult and then leave force beads or force poke or whatever. She's really good at God for that. And like, I think it's probably like a 30% CDR build going on right now where she kind of just frags with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think she doesn't have as much pressure as Perse. I want to make that clear. Where Perse is the most frustrating is her laning phase, but Chang'e kind of does everything like really, really, really good outside of the phase of laning. And even her laning phase can be really frustrating once she hits 5 as Chang'e. So, yeah, that's my opinion on
that. Okay. Let's move on to the other mage mid healer right then, Aphrodite. How do you feel about her in comparison?
So for, I think technically speaking, Aphro is better than Chang'e, but every time I've played her, it's you really feel the 30% anti-heal, the global like debuff on her. You really feel the anti-heal on her mostly because hers is dot and it's lower than everybody else's. So sometimes it feels really, really bad, like late game since in my opinion, time to kill is down right now. So you can kind of just like insta-gib a lot of like healers, since healers have a lower like HP pool in general. I've seen her being played in solo a little bit. And I've seen some people building Wingblade now that it has like magical procs and stuff like that on her. But when I've been doing like the Chronospin and Pill that Dardes was doing last year, it hasn't felt as good because you're healing at a 30% decreased rate, but you're just healing for more often. So, but when I've done Rod into like Boots Breastplate, like I felt like I was unkillable, and that's kind of the most success I've had with having one defense item. So she's probably, I think she's less pressure wise, but she's more team oriented, and she can kill people much easier than Chang'e at a range technically with a Kiss Link and like a Blink 2 combo and stuff like that. But it does require a little bit synergy. She's probably just up there with Chang'e just because she is a healer. I still think healers are really strong right now. It is really frustrating to deal with healers. So, yeah, that's kind of where my opinion is. I think healers are kind of just strong in general, even though like anti-heal items did get buffed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it.
I think it's worth keeping in mind in that context that anti-heal items got buffed, but it was more like it was a revert, and it was only a partial revert. Like the duration is still shorter than it used to be on the before season 8. So it's still they're still worse in some ways, and that is then kind of offset by brawling or whatever. But depends. Depends a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take a spicy one. Anubis.
So I've actually talked to like a bunch of people about this god. I did think when anti-heal did was like worse, but like before this patch, I actually thought that he could have been really, really good. I think honestly, they're like the more you think about it, and with the gods currently being played in Ancile, you can literally Anubis 1, and then you're just dead. You just stand there and just silence for a second. Like you can literally die in that 1 second.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably just bottom tier. I mean, it's really hard to make him work.
It is, yeah.
Just due to, I mean, Ancile is just such a prevalent item right now.
Yeah.
And anti-heal did get buffed. I feel like it's really hard to make him work. But when he does work, he's really good. But it's just, I think he kind of just like, I mean, with like Camo, Rat, like just a bunch of gods that kind of just like insta kill him, Fenrir's and stuff like that. And Ancile being so prominent, I feel like the character can't really like move.
I see you're in a struggle here.
Yeah, the map's bigger, can't really move around the map. I mean, he's probably just C tier, to be honest. I mean, you can't really move around the map on a bigger map as an immobile mage too often.
Okay, so. I'm gonna throw you something interesting here, just to make it even harder for you. His win rate in Conquest in Platinum Plus, or let's see Diamond Plus as well, I think. In Platinum Plus, he has the highest win rate in the game. In Diamond Plus, he has the second highest win rate in the game right now.
No shot, really?
Yeah, he has a 59% win rate in Diamond and 57% or 58% in Masters.
Dang, that is actually insane.
he's not picked a lot, to be fair. Like, you know,
yeah,
he's neither banned or picked much because he's Anubis. But
yeah,
when he's picked,
yeah, I think. I mean, also Cav Jungle is being prominent back in the game. Sobek's being picked. Cerberus is being picked. Ymir's constantly picked. I mean, this god I feel like just can't do anything versus the majority of the characters right now in the game.
It's interesting,
and with
right?
like builds with Ancile as well.
Yeah,
like people junglers are just rushing like Jotuns into Ancile, and
yeah, if even Jotuns, like I mean, skipping Jotuns just to go Ancile. Shift his Ancile.
Yeah, I really on a bigger map, I just think it's really hard for him to move.
I have a hard time putting into trash tier when he's statistically performing so well, but I absolutely see a point.
Yeah, I think if like probably if Ancile honestly wasn't as good as it is right now, I've honestly like funny enough I've even seen like ADCs be building Ancile at some points. I've seen like Cyclone experimenting with some different builds. And even like hunters are going Ancile as well since it's just so efficient. It's like such a good item. I don't know. You could probably put him B. In my opinion, if you combo Anubis, he is a good god. Whether or not what you're facing, like if you're a Serb Anubis, for example, I think you can just shred whoever's in front of you. Due to obviously the pro shred of Serb 2, and honestly, you can just make Anubis safer. But I think as Anubis as a character, I don't think he's a good character. But Anubis with like a proper team built around him, then I think he's a good character.
So I think that sounds good for B. Like that sounds good for B. Situational, like you have to have the right comp. That's why he's also not picked that much, right? But if you have that, or the enemy team isn't threatening, then that works a lot better for you.
Yeah.
Whereas in most cases, he is still Anubis.
Yeah, he do be still Anubis.
What else we got? Oh, this one's interesting because I have no idea where you're going to place him. Samedi.
Oh, I think this god's really bad now.
Okay.
Yeah. He did become a little bit better in season 7. You saw him every now and then just because some of the gods that were being played you could kind of just like kill them and stuff like that,
Mhm.
or like you could just like suck people in and just kill them, or like CC them and heal and stuff like that. But he can't really clear waves that well. You want to max his 2 in mid because of the heal, and that's kind of your survivability.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really feel that good anymore to play him when, in my opinion, there is just better characters than him. And he's an immobile mage, and Antile like destroys him even more than it does Anubis.
Yeah.
And it's built literally every game.
Yeah.
And also energy talisman making people faster, and you can get out. Like I've seen a lot of, pretty much almost all supports are going energy talisman, which is the movement speed increase.
And if stuff. Not the solos do, so somebody does.
yeah. And his 2 is such a long ability. If you clear like a wave or get a kill or anything, like it's just so hard to play the god. Like you kind of just die really fast.
Yeah.
And I think another thing is solo laners right now are going more hybrid than they did last season. So immobile characters are just really hard to play when, like, you're better off late game against them, obviously, since they are hybrid, but they kind of do just die when like a hybrid solo laner is rotating around like level 12 when they hit their spike. So yeah, I don't know. I really don't think you can really play him in mid anymore. He's probably like more of a solo laner at this point, in my opinion.
Where, by the way, he's not doing well either. Samedi, interesting enough, does really well until a certain point in ranked, until like platinum, almost 60% win rate, and then he drops off so hard. In Diamond, he lost 10% win rate since last patch, so he's struggling. I think like what helped him temporarily was also the anti-heal changes, obviously, even though he's an in-combat healer, but well, none of that is left now.
Yeah. I enjoyed playing him last season, and I really just don't want to even play the god, to be honest. Like he just doesn't bring anything, in my opinion. And he also messes up the item store. So
the biggest problem.
Yeah. I don't like seeing a Baron on my team or against me, because if it's against me, it's kind of a free win. Yeah. And if it's on my team, you're really sad. I guess unless it's like solo. I think it's okay in solo, maybe. I'm not too sure.
I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen a solo Samedi doing well, especially because you have more objectives to contest now. He can't contest any of that. So he just sits there and waits.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is he C tier? Is he B tier?
I really do think he's a really bad god right now.
Okay, we're doing C tier.
Yeah. Like it's probably easier to build a team comp around Anubis than it is Merlin. In my opinion.
Yeah, I think it comes down to a lot of it comes down to just not being able to play him well in any role. Like he's not good enough for mid or solo right now, and he has no other place to go. I mean, maybe support, but that's a stretch.
You just want probably a better god there.
Yeah. Okay. Another one. Oh yeah, he was played in the SCC today. Cthulhu. Yeah, he was played, I think, twice even.
Was he played in support at all?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, thankfully.
Yeah.
I've been seeing so many Cthulhu supports, man. I can't.
You've seen them in ranked?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not fun. It's fun. It's fun for the support, but it's not fun for anyone else.
I get Dove as a mid laner, and he's just sitting there like, hey, I can't help.
I don't know who I was watching the other day, but somebody was playing ADC and had a Cthulhu support and was tilting not over the Cthulhu support in itself, but the fact that the Cthulhu ulted in front of him and he couldn't see the enemies properly because there was so much going on. It's like CCing your own team.
That is tough.
But I would still say that as a solo, he does what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, that's another god. I think Sanguine. Maybe it was Sanguine and Ghost of last year that really brought the Cthulhu counter out to Perse. I think that was the first like really hard counter to that god. And I mean, Yarkor performed really well on the god too. I think he got nerfed on his ult duration, if I remember correctly, like last patch.
Yeah, I think last patch was the damage of the 1 on the ult, but the duration was before that as well.
Oh yeah. And then I think Final Kid played him at Worlds as well. I do think he's a good god. I think he needs a little bit of help.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I haven't really seen too many Cthulhu's. I think if you're in a high level game, you can get away with it because your jungler should know, due to you having like a guardian support or a guardian solo, you want to play like around that, and you just want to get him the blues and stuff and get him to late game. Because I think even with Thorn's nerf, which was one of his prominent things, I think he still does a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he heals in AoE. He does insane amounts of damage. He gains a bunch of health. Is very, very tanky. I've seen a lot of more people picking up Sunder now into him, and I've seen a Cthulhu. He presses his 4 key and then he loses 25% of his health if he's full HP when he gets Sundered, and then he kind of just insta die. But if you're like actually the really good Cthulhu with all the like the pillars and walls and stuff that are around the map, and you can maneuver on that, you can probably last the duration of the Sunder. And crit is a little less bought, so you don't die as fast.
Or you get Spectral now. I mean, it's got buffed as well.
Yeah. So I think, he's probably really good. He's probably just A+, honestly. I mean, he's definitely a good soul laner. You just got to get him through his like early game, because I think he also has very strong matchups, I think, into certain gods right now as well. Into some of the soul laners. So yeah, he's probably just A+, honestly.
Yeah,
every time I have him on my team in soul lane, I'm so happy.
A+ in solo specifically, I have to emphasize that. Not in support.
Yeah, in support, he's below C. He's just all the way down at the bottom. But
yeah, I think Cthulhu is also interesting because like in any game where the enemy team doesn't know how to play around him completely, he just frags.
Yeah.
It's just you have to really specifically counter the Cthulhu and work against his ult, because otherwise he just zones at least 1, if not 2 players out of a team fight, and tanks a lot.
Faces down those backliners.
Yep. Let's get some supports in here as well. Sobek, where's Sobek? Here. Sobek.
That god is OP.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sobek is a beast.
Sure, that god's like S. Easy S.
Yeah, I'll just put him there right now. Man. I agree. Can you explain to me a little bit more what changed for Sobek? What made him so much better now?
So what one, he has anti-heal built into his 3, which also heals him. He has built-in it's prots on his passive, correct? If I'm not mistaken, there's a mitigation. It's prots, right? Yeah. Which makes him even tankier. Which who wouldn't want the support with reinforced greaves first item to be even tankier than him? And that can already make him. His dash also is like the easiest bead to burn ever. And also I think Raffer and Jake really played Sobek, and they were really good with the ult movement. Yeah, I mean what you really want to do as a backliner is when you want to bait the pluck in, so they pluck you and you beat them, and then you just kill the Sobek. But people now, like if you're really good at Sobek, in my opinion, I've seen a lot of people like moving very differently with the Sobek ult. And it is definitely frustrating to play around. And with Pridwin being really good, if you pluck in, they beads it, and you try to instant kill him. Like a lot of the good Sobeks just instant drop in their 4 key and then come back up and have the Pridwin shield and like can do whatever and just get out and stuff like that. And as well, he frags backliners. He does so much damage to them.
Yeah.
And definitely just a lot of disruption. He can literally he's a good engager. Has good peel. He heals himself, gives himself prots. CC immune ult. That does a lot of damage if you can full stack it off. And a very, very good beads burner. Just definitely a very good support overall, that is for sure.
But specifically, like in season 7, we didn't see him quite as much. Do you think that a lot of that comes down to the anti-heal changes, or is there any other reason?
I think at the end of season 7, you started to see him more. I think Jake and Raffer played him the most, I think, out of any support. But I think now, hybrid items, didn't really get buffed for me. Like obviously the Guardian Mage tab
Hmm.
or Mage item shop, the hybrid items didn't get buffed too much, but he can kind of stick on backliners really, really easily. Like he's very, very good into Perse. You kind of, if she's gonna ult you, you can honestly pluck away from it. You can a lot of disruption on him. If you get stuck on the ult, you can tour because she wants to seat on top of you and dash away. You can tour and disrupt that. But he's just, he kind of just does everything that you want from a support. To be honest with you, like,
I think one thing
could peel and stuff.
One thing that's worth mentioning as well is that you can choose like more offensive or more specific support build path now as well, because you can you're not forced into Thebes because you have Embrace. So that opens up a lot of things for someone like Sobek who likes or like doesn't really like a passive build with Thebes that much.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. You mentioned it before already, Kuzenbo. Primarily as support, but then I guess he flex. Does he flex into solo still even?
I think he's there like on and off. I think when you need him, you put him there if you can't get him in support. But yeah. So I think Kuz is a very, I think, like comp dependent character. Obviously with Thorns nerf, he definitely fell off a bit in support because you just go triple Thorns into somebody that you can kill with Thorns, that being Merlin, Perse, sometimes even Scylla, depending if she can break the Thorns or not at the time, and stuff like that. I think he's fallen off a little bit. I think duo pressure is pretty important right now. Just due to like you can get double Scorp, you can get out of lane faster and rotate around the map and stuff like that. So I don't know if Kuz does that. I think if you can do the old thing at like the start of season 7 that people were doing when Kuz was really good, you would blink 3 the wave, 3 them into 3 creeps, and just do like a lot of poke damage that way and get the wave pressure. But obviously people are used to that now, so you can't really get that. And he's probably, he's probably just A. He's maybe B.
Yeah, it's interesting actually. I didn't realize how much he's fallen off, but I think you're more on point with B at this point. His win rate has dropped miserably. 43% in Masters, 41 in Diamond, 44 in Platinum. Like not even close.
Yeah, because he used to do a lot of damage with the Thorns in his tube, right?
Yeah.
Because you were like, if you're facing like a Perse or Merlin, like current things at the time, he's really good. But then when Ra was being played, he doesn't really do anything to Ra. Janice was buffed, obviously, and he doesn't really do anything to Janice. That was an old counter to Kuz. You pick like gods that get away from him, and you would pick up Janice in the mid, and you just like ult through a wall if he's coming in on you or something like that. And you just hard engage and play it fast, and the Kuz can't really do anything. So he is probably B due to that. People are learning. You kind of when like you see a Kuz, like for example, if you're building a team comp, you don't want to pick like Merlin super early because obviously there's a lot of gods that are good into him. That one being of Kuz, but I think now carries are pretty pick later, so it's kind of worse for him because you can't really early pick Kuz because there's obviously a lot of disruption for him and he can't really play the game. So yeah, I think he's probably just good on B.
Yep. Okay. About Scylla. She got nerfed already. I think, right? It's an 8.2 bonus balance that she got some slight nerfs.
So there is a crap. Hold on. Someone got a build that is on the first ability. It got nerfed to 20%, right? Her 2, the percent pen.
Yeah, I think so. It was 5% down. It was 25 before, right?
Yeah. So if you get 40% pen with shard, and you do with Scylla 2 as well, and you have shard and your first proc, it's actually 70% pen on your 2. And if you have Bumbas, you can actually spam root someone if you have like Deso Bumbas, which is 20%, 30%, and then CDR boots, you have 40% right there. And with Bumba Scylla, you can actually keep people rooted. Every 2 seconds, you can root people with your like combo if you're autoing properly and everything like that. And I've seen like insane, obviously 80% pen on a frontline. You kind of just insta give them. I see Sundering Axe more than I do Bumbas, but I saw Bumbas recently for the first time, and I saw people like spamming. I saw someone 2 auto, and then they won them, autoed them, pop the 2 and then put like a 3 back, alter them, and then just reset the 2 again and just like kept spamming it. And I was like, it was actually so annoying to like deal with as the frontline. I could tell like you're just being spam rooted and you can't really do anything.
I hope you understand what you've just unleashed on the world by talking about this.
Yeah. I think she's actually just she's probably S.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing with Scylla is if you're very good at Scylla and you hit everything, she's like one of the best mages. She does have a rough early game, and as much as her early game is abusable, which is always her downside, but she really at level 9, obviously when you get your first tick of your passive, she obviously starts hitting harder, and you have your 2 being now having the percent pad on it. It's not as abusable that people think. Obviously, if she ever hits a good 1 late game or a good ult or anything, she just does so much damage and so much poke. I think if you have gods that can get onto her, it's really, really good. She doesn't get too punished from Ansile, which is being built right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think she gets punished by gods being in the air, though, or things that can like avoid her abilities pretty easily. That being, like Kama, Chang'e, I think is really good to her. Obviously, Ravana is being picked up more often. Just a lot of things with just Loki's getting a buff. I think Loki's really good into Scylla because you can close the gap and kind of get on her and spam your 2s on her.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of a Willix might be picked up more. I've seen people going create a Willix now. And a lot of people are just pre-ulting and just blinking in and just all-inning the Scylla and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if junglers are starting to build crit, then characters that have to stand still in their ult, being obviously Scylla, I feel like that doesn't put her in SS.
Yeah.
I think that just puts her in S. I think she's obviously a very good mage. I think she's probably close to the best mage. I think it's really hard to deem a best mage right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think she's probably up there with the top 3 mages really pretty easily, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yep. You mentioned Camazotz a lot. Tell me about him.
Yeah. So I think there's 2 builds going on now, I think, with Cama right now. For soul lane purposes, anyway, there's 2 builds. There's the Soul Eater build with CAD Shield and Shifters, which give him all the items that you need and increased healing, which he already benefits from healing due to his passive and, all of his healing abilities in 3 and everything like that. And then he can just kill backliners, perma heal. People are going Death's Toll with it and going Death's Embrace and healing for like 400 in auto. I mean, like, it's very absurd and very frustrating to deal with. And he's a lane bully as well.
Yeah.
That just makes him really strong. Probably, I mean, I think he's S for solo.
Okay.
For jungle, maybe he's A+, just because he doesn't really go Soul Eater and he doesn't really go CAD Shield. But he's a very frustrating character, even in jungle. Maybe they're both just S. I mean,
I'm gonna veto this a little bit. I'm gonna say A+. I'm down with, but S.
Yeah. He's just a very like frustrating character to deal with as a backliner. I guess. I guess he's more of a from a backliner perspective. He's probably S because I can't really like it's very hard to play against him. But I guess for like an overall seeing of it, he's probably just A+. I guess that would be a better way to put it.
I'm kind of thinking. I'm kind of thinking if I should put him A+ or SPLT, because the problem that I always see with Camazotz is it makes a massive difference how good you are at hitting his 1 and 2, because it's 2 line abilities, and
I agree.
And also how good you are at utilizing the ultimate, like
and
bad
using
players.
Your heals at the right time as well.
Yeah,
I think he can be A+ because I think he kind of. I guess for soul lane he doesn't play himself. I think for soul lane he's probably A+, or for soul lane he's SPL. But I guess for jungle he kind of plays himself because you can keep your passive up and everything like that. And you don't really build the Soul Eater. You kind of just build like a normal jungler and you kind of just get in there and kill backline and stuff like that. So that probably put him for A+. But I guess for soul lane purposes he would be SPL. But for jungle I guess he's A+.
Yeah,
he plays himself in jungle, right?
Yeah, true. No, we just put him in A+. I mean, it gets the idea across anyway. So
yeah.
So we're doing the 2. Who do you want to talk about? Oh, I want to talk about someone, Bakasura, because I really miserably misplaced Bakasura last patch, and I have to make that right.
Right. So I think, all right. So this, to be fair, I think if you're at the top end and you're facing an Arachne or Baka or any like AAer that's in the jungle right now, I guess not like hard AA or hard AA or like Baka or Arachne, you go triple shell.
Yeah.
And I mean, Baka is like a completely useless god late game. Usually, if you have triple shell and they're upgraded, he doesn't do anything. He kind of just insta dies. If the team is playing around him correctly, I think in lower ranks, I think he does really good.
No, not even. That's the funny thing. That's like
really.
I misplaced him so hard because I thought, at least he's still like a ranked pub stumper, but not even that.
Yeah, I would think Arachne and him would both be.
Probably we will look at Arachne a bit, but Bakasura is literally like 50% win rate in most ranks, which for Bakasura specifically is really, really bad because he's meant to be a ranked stomper.
He's a ranked pub stomper.
Yeah. So I think he's like B tier.
He's
right
probably B. Yeah.
It's primarily the shell that just completely messes him up. It's Witchblade being super good and accessible for a lot of gods. It's him not clearing as quickly as others. It's him not working particularly well with the jungle items. Eye of the Jungle is great, but it's not really what Baka wants unless you're building him Bruiser, which is funny, but more of a meme than an actual build. So yeah. Sad times. And I think last time I placed him in S because I thought he was going to be really good with Eye of the Jungle and stuff. That did not work out. You mentioned Arachne. Let's look at Arachne as well while we're on this tragic story already. So Arachne is definitely still more of a stomper, for sure. She still gets her high win rates.
The cheesy start still.
Yeah, and it is nice for her, right? Because she like with how the camps are placed out, her level 1 is really nice still. She can still do the duo gank on level 1 if she wants to. It's level 2.
Yeah.
So she has some benefits that Baka doesn't have. But
yeah, that's for sure.
Not much, I would say. I would say like A tier maybe, but again.
Yeah, I've seen Sino doing a pretty good build on her, which is just like the normal stone cutting boots, golden blade into Wind Demon. I think it's Wind Demon Rage.
Yeah, Wind Demon Rage. Yeah, that's the crit jungle build right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems to be doing really well. Obviously, still suffers from shell, but she can kind of get rid of that pretty easily with her 2. I think being 70% attack speed increase or 80% or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think she suffers a little bit less than Baka to shells, but I think she still has the same issue where she kind of just dies really fast.
Yeah.
Late game, she can kind of just go in and die really fast, and she can't even if she's ulting, she can literally die in the air. So, I mean, I think she's better than Baka, but maybe on the same tier as Baka, maybe.
I would put her 1 tier higher. I would say I
guess for the cheesy factor, and she can hard abuse that more and snowball much harder. I guess she is higher. But definitely weird putting Arachne and Perse on the same tier.
For very different reasons, to be fair.
Yeah.
We're going to leave Perse at the start here. We're going to put Arachne all the way at the end when we have more. Then it makes more sense.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Arachne is just always going to be some level of ranked stomper because it's very annoying to deal with her for the first 15 minutes or so. And then the team has to work by that point.
Well, actually, you want to do AMC?
Oh, I have not seen much of the B.
I think this guy's really good right now.
Okay, explain.
I think he's got his reverted on a stinger, his reverted damage on a stinger. He's getting 1 more hive now as well.
Oh right, yeah, they buffed the hive number.
And something else got buffed on them.
Really? I thought it was 2 buffs. Wait, let me check.
Maybe it was just that.
Keep talking. I'm gonna check what the buffs were.
Yeah, and I think for mid right now he has insane pressure. Previous to what was on season 6, because that's where the reverse were mainly from, when it was like a hunter prominent mid meta where it was literally just on her and AMC constantly spam locked every single game. You would first pick both of those gods in mid and you just run it down and have infinite pressure.
Yeah,
I think he still does that. I think his builds are honestly even better because you can go shields. I mean, a lot of hybrid items are really good right now, and that's kind of what AMC is really good with.
Yeah, and Ikaival is getting a renaissance as well, basically. Yeah.
I've seen some people experimenting with AMC. They've gone Destal Berserker's Boots, Void Shield, Ansile, and then going into like some other tank item like in mid. And it's just like he does so much damage output and has insane like survivability. And also having one more hive is actually really good because you want, I mean, sometimes you can obviously use your hives as wards in mid sometimes, but two hives in one in the mid camp and one in the middle of those two rocks, then one in your tower, and then you can put two above. So you can have like a ward or like a bait hive right there so you can see where people are, which is really good for MC in mid. I think he's also fine in ADC. I think he's a better mid laner than he is ADC.
That is the type of take I expect from you.
Yeah, I think he just has more, like you can use his pressure more in mid than you can in ADC, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I also think he's safer in mid due to you're able to get into your tower faster, and being dove, you have a lot of damage output. So even if you die, you usually end up trading anyway. If you can get your stinger off, your 2-3. Like putting honey down, slowing people, your highs make you really fast, so your tradability is like actually through the roof. I've been saying whenever I'm playing and even on stream and stuff that I think this guy's going to be really good, and he honestly almost all of his reverts happened since season 6, which was the last time he was a sick mid laner, or season 6. And I mean, most of his reverse happened. The only thing that didn't is obviously bees applying on hit effects, but I think he might be even better now since hybrid items are even better from before.
Right.
And I thought the guy was completely OP in season 6. So I'm curious to see. Obviously, I can't just auto lock AMC every game in my ranked games, but
I mean, you can.
I could.
You're right, by the way.
There was a lot of success.
There was another buff. The Stinger must have been another patch, but the honey slow was increased, or will be increased next patch from 20% to up to 30% at max rank. So that's pretty good as well.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think he's A plus. In my opinion, I really do think that he so pressure right now since mid camps are back, I think is really important, and AMC kind of brings that. Also, hunters have higher just kind of overall damage early game than mages. So if you can snowball that into like a 25-minute game ender, hunters mid will always be better in certain scenarios like that. And AMC is definitely a god that can force that like really, really easily. So in my opinion, I would put him there because I really do think he's actually sick.
Oh yeah, I'm completely done with that. His win rate in Diamond right now is already like 57%, and this is before the buff. So it could be really interesting where that takes him. I mean, he might go even higher. Maybe you'll get your horror AMC back.
Yeah, we'll see.
I have a guy that was played today in all the SCC matches that I thought was very interesting. Chaac.
Oh, I've been saying this guy's OP. I keep saying it. I say to stream that I think he's OP. It's just because he's very frustrating to deal with. But in all seriousness, I mean, he is Chaac.
He is Chaac.
He kind of has very slow abilities. His axe is like in slow motion every single time you throw it. He does have a lot of pressure. He's a lane bully. He has a lot of rotation pressure. I think the builds benefit him since it's hybrid builds.
They took something from him though, which is the stacking slows. You could stack multiple item slows and his ability slow, which could like massively reduce enemy attack speed last patch, which he can't do anymore, but that's maybe for the best.
Yeah, that is true. The thing is how much you value. I think right now it's still in the learning phase in ranked and probably even competitive as how much you can use scorpions to your advantage. Where I think Chaac values a lot if you can get early score, because obviously 20% CDR on your abilities and then early game Chaac. I mean, you're kind of loving that from upgraded blue buff, obviously. And you can probably turn that into pressure on their blues and their buffs and their back camps and stuff like that. And also Chaac is a very frustrating gun to kill. Probably due to Sunder being purchased a lot and stuff like that. Might make him fall off a bit. He's a very good anti-hunter god, just due to the attack speed slow and everything like that.
I'm just I'd just
A
say
a weird
A.
spot to put him?
Yeah, I would say like middle of A, because like looking
Yeah.
at he's not an A plus god obviously, but he's
Right.
definitely better than the B gods as well. Like I definitely have a Chaac over Bakasura right now.
Yep.
So yeah, just right in the middle. Chaac
Yeah.
balanced,
Yeah.
or maybe
It's
OP.
not bad.
um,
Kuang has been spam picked and ranked.
yeah,
Seen that. Yeah,
Annoying.
that god is a ranked stomper.
yeah. I mean,
If I'm
at least
looking
he's
this
back
from
at
a
that
rank
point, right?
perspective, I'm putting him at S because he's a ranked stomper, like a hard ranked stomper. Obviously, everyone knows once Kuang gets going, he kind of just auto wins games.
Yeah.
And his items are really good for him right now.
Yeah, he's also there's less magical defense being built overall. Like even the solos are sometimes just opting to physical defense. And certain magical defense items don't stop him entirely because you can kind of build around them. Like say Ansile, for example, you can just go into a more AA focused build and it's less of a problem for you. So that's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's also very easy to just proc it on AO because if you're on Dragon, if you have your dragons and you just two an auto attack.
Yeah.
You're just gonna proc the Ansile anyway. He's just gonna shred through you.
Yeah.
So crit's also less prominent than it was before, and even when crit was really good versus AO, because you just kill him if you went in, he was still very good then.
Yeah.
So, and forcing your front line to buy beads as well is also a completely different value. So, maybe A plus S.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Is he more like end of S or beginning of A plus, like somewhere in between there?
Yeah,
stat
maybe
wise,
end of S just because he is a rank stomper.
Kind of, yeah, okay, yeah, I would say so. Looking like how he's on ban rate and pick rate, but it's pretty good. He's like 53% win rate, 54% in high ranks, and 30% pick and ban rate. Yeah, like I mean, literally, you could put him in either. We're just gonna put him at the end of S, but you know, no argument if you want to put him at A plus either. It's just somewhere in between there. In competitive, you would probably be a bit lower. I suspect. Ganesh is always an interesting one because every patch the opinions on Ganesh change so much. How do you feel about Ganesh?
I think he's an annoying god to face. I do think he does lose to a lot of 3v3s right now. He was really good into Horus when Horus is prominent in meta. I think he's decent into Faf. And I think Faf is like on the ropes, obviously being played. Some people play him, some people don't. I think he's decent to Serb, but still loses to Serb. It kind of goes both ways. So
just to cut it short, should we just put him in? Should we just put him in A or? Yeah.
Like
maybe like towards the beginning of A somewhere.
Yeah, I think he's just okay.
Yeah. A.
Yeah.
Let's take a god that's more than okay. Erlang Shen.
So I've seen a bunch of people trying different builds on him. I've seen attempts for animosity to work.
Oh, okay, that's cheese. That's just okay, you can proc that, but that's just unnecessary.
I've seen it actually do pretty well just because you just have overall a lot of damage.
Yeah. I mean, he can definitely work it, right? Because he has the tankiness and he gets the damage from it. But then
obviously you just want bombas on every jungler.
Of course, but actually, important point. Next patch, it comes with a buff to both Eye of the Jungle and to Mannequin, and he can use literally any starter. So that might be interesting as well. I could imagine that he could be one of the gods where Mannequin could work. I know Cherio played that, and he was kind of like on the fence about it, but because you can aggress so hard early on with Erlang, you can snowball really hard in jungle. And if you have Mannequin along with that, then it's even more damage. So I think he's very strong still and very stompy as well, especially because he's kind of like a Bakasura or Arachne in that sense that he has like that AA focus, but he does things better in early game most of the time because you have CC, you have setup, you have ability damage, if you miss your basics, you still do damage with something else. And I think that's huge overall. If I was to like pick one jungler that I was forced to play at the moment, I think it would be Erlang, because it's just you can't go wrong with it.
Yeah. This is a very good beats force early. He has early pressure due to that. You just blink like 2 core speeds in mid because there's a lot of kill potential.
Yeah. At the same time, he's not the highest performing guard either. Like, if we put him next to, say, our Kuang, I think our Kuang would perform better.
Then he's probably top of A+ then.
Yeah, that's probably.
If AO's an S, a bottom S, then he's probably top A+.
Yeah. Okay, personal vent over. I don't know.
Maybe a little Merlin.
Ooh.
I've seen people saying Merlin's pretty bad and doesn't do a lot of damage.
What do you say to that?
All I know is Fire Stance got buffed in going into Season 8, the Fire 1 on the scaling on it. And I've been using Fire Stance a lot more, and it is unjukable now. So you can't just zigzag out of it because it's a 0.25 on it instead of a 0.5 cast time.
Right.
Rocket. And it does do a lot of damage now. And with the current builds being built, you have like Rod builds. Obviously, always scaling with dot damage. Rod's going to be pretty impactful on a lot of that stuff. And he also just uses items really well. Honestly, I would put him probably, in my opinion, I think he's A+. I think he's actually really good right now. He has good over-the-wall damage. He has lackluster pressure. He's like first wave pressure.
Yeah.
Which I think people haven't experimented with that enough, so it's hard to tell on how much first wave pressure really means. But I think, honestly, I think he's probably, better than, I think he's like right under Chang'e maybe, or better. It's kind of hard to tell. Obviously, he's not a healer, and you got to put prominent 2 healer. So I guess due to not being a healer,
Wait. I'll make this easier for you, because I completely agree with your stance. But the problem with Merlin is that you need to learn to play him to be good with him.
That is true.
And I'm thinking we just put him in SPL, because he's just a god where you want to invest some time into him, understand the builds, and then he's really strong. But I think a lot of people are not doing that, and they're just picking him and using using Frost Stance, and figure that that's all they need to do the whole game. So I would say just SPL, but like I would definitely put him around A+ in terms of when you know how to play him, because his win rates don't reflect it, but he is just god that's not easy to play. Finally, that I'm happy that's that way, because when he came out, I was complaining about that. I was saying like it's just way too easy to do much damage with him. And Ajax back then actually said that he was not meant to be that hard, and that kind of confused me, because I was like, he has 3 stances. It sounds like he should be hard.
So some people don't even know that you can still choose your stance. You're old.
Wait, so they just switch to the next stance every time, or what?
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, it's quicker, I guess, or something. I don't know.
Also, with, I guess, Merlin being in SPL, I do want to say that I do think Perse is better in SPL. But I think for rank purposes, because I do see a lot of people just auto-locking Persephone every single time she's open, I do not think she's as good as people think.
I'll just rename this. I'll just name this to Learn Them. That makes sense. That makes more sense than you can. Because it's not necessarily SPL right now. Okay. This is one that I haven't seen in so long, but I want to hear about it. Freya.
I've literally heard everyone say that god is terrible, like unplayable.
I'm not surprised, because I've literally not seen anyone play her either. So it's
I've heard it from ADC that she's unplayable. I played her mid, and that god's unplayable.
She's the worst win rate of all mages right now. I didn't even know this.
Yeah, she's really bad.
Okay, just do this quick.
Yeah, she's really. I think she's. Weirdly enough, Alderaan I think is really bad as well right now.
I think all AA mages are suffering to some degree.
Yeah, I think Kronos is really good though.
Yeah, okay, but he also doesn't have to really go AA, so he's exempt.
Yeah, I think Olo's probably with Freya, to be honest. Probably better than Freya, but I think bad. I mean, I think Olo's better than Baron. But I
want to
think
see
really
how Oloron does in comparison real quick. I just want to know where he stands. Where is he? Oh, he's actually he's doing a little bit better than Freya. Actually, he's doing getting around 50% win rate.
Yeah,
I would say he's not quite Freya levels then. I think the reason why it's different is because his ult will just always have an impact. Like you can be 5 levels behind, but if you ult in that team fight, it's still gonna make a difference. If you ult while being sieged or while sieging, it's gonna make a difference. Even on objectives.
Probably B then.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, I would
team
say
comp.
So. Yeah, like I would say
team comp built around them.
You have to really you have to use the ult very well. You have to place it well. And you have to have the right teammates to allow you to even use your ult to not just self-peel all the time. But yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not quite Freya. But we have another mage ADC. That's Sol. Okay, Sol. I don't know. Is Sol better than Freya in any way?
I think yeah, so the problem with Sol, I think she has a good early and mid game. Obviously, you can keep the passive up. She's really good early game. But she just can't kill what's in front of her. So which is just really bad. Yeah, I haven't been a fan of her. I've tried a bunch of different builds with her. A build and just like a raw power build on her, and I always run into the problem that I can't kill the person in front of me.
Yeah,
that being like obviously the tanks and stuff like that. She can definitely destroy squishies, but it's very also hard for the Sol to get to squishies.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. Like, I just don't know if like it's for me it's between C and B tier, but I don't know if she's more.
Yeah, I guess because you can snowball a game really hard in Sol, she can't be trash. But if you get to late game, you can't kill what's in front of you. So,
I like the argument that you can snowball a game really hard and that she can actually also split push pretty decently, and maybe that's something that Freya can't do. So she's got like a little bit there, like maybe just like the very end of B tier or something. Like
for sure,
somewhere there.
We can do that for sure.
Okay. Let's put someone who's gonna go a lot higher up, and her.
Yeah, I think he's A plus, to be honest with you.
I definitely think he's at least A plus. I'm wondering, no, maybe not S, but like, and her is. Just,
I think he's near it.
Yeah, or maybe it's.
Has built-in prod shred, which is always obviously nice, especially with people being more physically tanky this year.
Yeah. And because hunters, the new hunter builds all have relatively limited pen. Like you either choose to go like the dominance builds with like percentage pen or Exe, but in either case, now that Fail Not's nerfed, you're not getting that much pen. Like and her is just like I'm gonna get my free pen, so I don't care.
Yeah, that is true.
And obviously high lane pressure, which is nice when you have so many lane objectives on the duo side that you can clear in between for extra farm. Transitions into late game better than you used to. Better item builds from that work there.
For sure.
Ikaival, Berserkers are super abusable for him both. Not necessarily together, but individually. So I think he's really good. I just don't know if it's enough.
He's near S, I think.
Maybe just put him at the front of A plus, and then you know. Like I'm just wondering, would I rather have an Ao Kuang on my team or an Anhur kind of that level? But it's either or for me. I think maybe the thing that holds Anhur back a little bit more is that he's a little bit harder to play because if you don't land them impales.
That's true. That's true.
There was another hunter that we can definitely talk about. I think he's at the bottom somewhere. Stupid rat. I hate him.
Okay, so I think he's really close to SS.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say he's SS anymore. I think the last nerfs.
I think he's.
I think he's the best hunter.
I think he's the best laner.
Yeah, I think he's the best hunter that's not like about like the same versatility as Apollo. But absolutely still nerf worthy. Absolutely still the first pick hunter if ever open.
For sure.
Insane boxing potential because his whole kit is just you have a taunt, you have a haste, you have a slow, you have a stun, you have
and it's a non-DRable taunt.
I don't even know what part frustrates me the most, but I think the 2 is really the worst part at this point.
Yeah, and it body blocks autos as well, so it makes it
the only upside that I didn't realize until recently is that if you're playing a hunter with death toll, you can heal from them. But but that's very minor in comparison. I don't know. There's so many situations with him where you just try to box him and you just can't even get through the 2 and you're half HP basically. It's just I don't know. It's so weird to me because
and if you're good with them.
When he came out, it was the usual conversation like, is he actually OP? Well, he's not performing as well as Tsukuyomi, so he's probably not OP. And it's like, over the first 2 weeks, he all went up, and ever since then, he's gone up and up and up and up. And gotten nerfs, and still people realize, actually, he's still better than we thought. So maybe that much CC in a Hunter kit wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
So,
That's true.
I mean, they're toning it down a little bit now. They nerfed the old stun, but I think they need to finally man up and touch the 2 and maybe take the DR away, like put DR on it rather. Take some health points away, something like that. And maybe we can talk. I don't know. Like talking about it makes me almost want to put him into SS, but it's just he's right on the edge there. I think
for sure.
Maybe not quite as all-rounder as Apollo. Can't play him as well in every role, at least. Just ADC in jungle. That's what works. And jungle is a bit rough at times.
What about? I mean, you could do one that's pretty fast. I think is Agni. I think he's kind of just where he's always been. He's just kind of a balanced god.
Yep.
He's probably middle of the pack A.
Yeah, put him in the middle.
Just kind of there.
People thought he was going to be really insane because of the Spear of Desolation change, because he gets like an extra ult, but then that's also just one extra ult, so it's not like it makes him.
He still suffers from everything else. He's just kind of there.
Yeah.
Ares rose up at like around Worlds time and stuff like that last year.
Oh, Ares is interesting. I've seen a lot of Ares actually lately, and he's been definitely been doing better. Yeah. I want to see how he's doing statistically as well, because I have no idea. I have not seen his number. Oh my. Okay. He is the highest winning Guardian right now.
Really?
In Diamond, and probably also in Masters then. And in flat, he is really good.
He is definitely a ranked fragger, because you can go like purple boots on him and just kind of slam people to change and just frag out, and kill people. So
interesting. I didn't know he was that good. What? I thought
his 2. Well, you also think that his 2 with Sentinel's Embrace is also insane amount of procs.
Yeah,
and he has HP 5 as well, so he can heal people on sieges and stuff like that.
Yeah, true. All right, they buffed that a while. Yeah. Where would you put him? Would you put him?
I probably near Sobek, to be honest. Maybe bottom of S.
Yeah, it seems like it. I didn't realize this, but yeah.
I think
picked and banned a lot as well.
Maybe for the skill factor that you do have to land your chains, or you're a completely useless character, he is maybe top of A+, just due to that.
That is true. But at the same time, that's also true for Sobek's plucks.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Yeah,
I do think Sobek can play multiple ways though, with the peel and everything like that. But
true,
I guess you can argue
Sobek flex is a little bit better if you don't want to play him support. Yeah, maybe just A+. But,
as a safer option, I think probably top of A+, just in case people can't land chains.
I guess we could put him in to learn them as well then, but maybe I don't think he's that hard to learn. It's just an aim thing. You have to practice the aim
for sure.
Speaking of Guardians that are performing well, Ymir is also.
Spam buffed. Honestly, I think he's just with Sobek like he was last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he just has everything in his kit. Even though he's immobile, he's just so tanky.
Mm-hmm. I definitely underrated him. I think especially the wall buff where you can break it when you want to is massive for him, because it gives you so much more control over the fights. And ever since then, he's been doing pretty well.
Yeah, and also hitting someone with your abilities gives him a nice little damage reduction. So
And
Love that.
and again, the same thing as with Sobek. The fact that he's not forced into Gone of Thebes and can go more aggressive choices, Stone of Binding early, that is very nice as well. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on there. Always the awkward ult and late game, but
yeah, that is true.
But that's not that big of a problem, I would say, when you have more control over the wards as well. Give me some feels on Baba Yaga after all her buffs.
So I think the potion change is really good.
Yeah.
I always complain about the character being very clunky.
Yeah.
She feels it's very unbearable at times. I've done a new build with her with lifesteal, and she feels better than she does just going full damage because, you know, being in your ult kind of doesn't give you any prots. It just gives you obviously the health shield. I think if people know what they're doing, they just press Sunder on her and then she dies right away.
Yeah, true.
If she's in her ult. And she kind of gets stuck on a lot of wall. Honestly, I think she is playable. I think she is playable into some comps. I think she's probably, honestly, in this whole list out of all the characters, she's probably going to be bottom of A tier. I wouldn't put her on the same tier as Anubis just because I think you can play her more than you can him. And you don't need a full team comp around her. She can kind of play on her own.
Yeah.
I think versus the better players, she gets sundered and dies. Because she can't really avoid anything. She's kind of just there.
Right.
And she's very easy to stick on. Also, Ancycle cancels her dash. So.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wait, why? Because it doesn't do initial damage, does it?
You kind of, it just pops and then you just go back down.
That is weird. The moment it pops when it would deal damage and then it. Oh, okay. Got it. Right. Oh, that hurts.
Yeah. I think it's also a distance range on it, though. I think if you're right next to them, it cancels it. But I think if you're further back, because obviously
you have to deal the damage to them, right? So
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would put her at A.
Yeah, I'm done with that. She's like in
worse than Agni, but she can be better than Agni. You know, obviously with all mages, there's always situations. So.
In ranked, she does like relatively poorly until you get to like higher divisions, and then in masters, she does really well. But that's also a smaller number of games played, so it's kind of hard to say. But I had some fun with her. I played the build that you have been running for a while. I ran for a while in between. I think you ran on Merlin with the Book of Thoughts start, and then building Sentinel's Embrace in late game. It's kind of nice. You live a lot as Baba Yaga in her ult with Sentinel's Embrace.
That's true. You do love that.
That was pretty fun.
What do you think of right now? Out of curiosity, Cerberus.
Oh, I think he's pretty good. I think.
I think he's going up in the picks right now, especially with healers being a little more prominent, and him with what is it Tainted Amulet? If I'm not mistaken, maybe it's a different word.
It's Tainted Breastplate. Breastplate is the healing reduction one. Amulet is the one that steals more, which I don't think he really needs.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, huge anti-heal.
I think he's really good right now. He's probably just next to Ares, to be honest with you. You could put him probably the next left of him or right of him. I mean, he's kind of just there.
Yeah.
I think he's just good overall prot shred. Has a good engage, good disengage, good peel, an insane stun.
I'm kind of wondering, did he get any buffs at any point as well? Because I know that people were always complaining about him being so bad, and I was like, is he really? And then this season he's really spiking.
But I think a lot of people are using him more for like prot shred purposes and stuff like that.
But he wasn't changed, was he? He didn't get any.
Yeah, I think people are more using it for the prot shred, like on us too. They're really taking advantage of that. I think as well, hybrid items being a little bit more bought, and also Tainted Breastplate has damage on it.
Yeah.
And his one hits like a truck. So.
Wait, Tainted Breast. I thought that had tanky stats. No, I don't even.
It has a 90 magical power on it, if I'm not mistaken.
I am.
Maybe 60? Maybe 80?
I am out of the loop. I only look at the passive of that item and like, yep, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It has 60 magical power. Wow.
60 magical power, yeah.
That's actually a lot for such a high defense item as well.
Yeah, it makes him hit real hard.
Yeah, I can imagine. Oh, cool. Yeah. I almost maybe put him ahead of Ares. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's
You
a bit
put him
easier
in
to play.
He is easier.
Yeah, he's easier. Definitely. Cabrakan. Cabrakan is really nice right now.
I think he's good. When I was queuing last lot, I've been seeing him in jungle quite a bit with Bomba's Hammer and stuff like that. He uses it really well.
Yeah. I would say he's excluding Tsukuyomi, who in my opinion is just kind of a broken interaction. I would say he's the best Bombas user because you build a little bit bruiser anyways. You constantly in the middle of the fight, and you need to tank up a lot of damage. And you want to have extra burst on your abilities, and you can just chain them, and it doesn't stop. It's like it doesn't feel right, but it feels good.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, he feels. I think he's really good. I think he's also good in support. He does get into some of the mages.
Yeah.
You can also, with Bomba's Dagger, you can get him out of the early game easier because you can rush your boots. And once you have lifesteal boots, you're more prominent on the map.
And he does not run out of mana at all, which is really nice for him, which was a problem in previous seasons when you jungle with him. You can literally just tremor the whole time if you want to as well, and you're not going to run out because the camp's still enough.
Maybe he's around where Cam is? What do you think?
Yeah, I was going to say like somewhere in the middle of A. I was maybe thinking next to Erlang or so. That I think is like the area where he's at the moment. Really, really fun to play as well. And easy to play, so that's nice.
I think he is definitely a ranked fragger as well. I think it's a lot.
Though I could imagine that he'll see SPL play as well. Like
probably will.
He always comes out, especially in matchups where the enemies have a lot of slows, where or roots where he just counters that. That's interesting, by the way. I found out recently. You know how there's a ramp to root? I'm not sure which ability it was on. I think Samedi's 3, I think. If you use Capra's 1, he's slow immune and he's root immune, but Samedi's 3 will slow him because it's a ramp to root, but then not root him. It's the weirdest interaction, but
that's interesting.
It works. It feels really strange.
Yeah, that's
just slow down and then suddenly speed up again. On the topic of slow immune guards, what about Habois?
I think he is an immobile god. I think at top end you can get away with him. I think Ansile really get into Hebo. I think Fenrir's really get into Hebo. I've been seeing a lot more Hebos in jungle than I did in mid. With Bomba's Hammer, you can one auto. And you constantly have your 1-up, which junglers can use more than you can as a mid laner.
I gotta say, I've tried the Bombas build, but the problem that I ran into is that even like though you can do that, you kind of have to be close to the enemy, and you're still relatively squishy, and that can be punished pretty hard as well with a little bit of CC.
I mean, I think maybe it's top of A, bottom of A plus.
I would say more like middle of A almost. I'm looking at his stats right now. He's not doing very well. I think Ansile being so popular just really hurts him.
Ansile does farm him.
Because like you use your 1 and then you stand there, or use your. Now, if you can get it off with a 3, you might be lucky, but usually
he's a very good late game god.
Yeah,
but I mean, you can't get a god to late game automatically. So
yeah,
there's struggles.
And one thing about the Bombas thing as well, right, is you give up that a little bit of that late game burst. Yeah, you get some pen, but you don't get the burst spike that you otherwise get to like one shot someone. And just sometimes it just punishes you a lot just to lose that little bit of damage on him. So it's a bit awkward. We didn't talk about another major ADC yet. Kronos.
Yeah. I've been spamming running this god in mid. I actually think he's really good right now. I think it's pretty hard to kill him. He doesn't really care about Ansile. A lot of the junglers being played right now can't really insta burst him before he gets his ult off, especially with now him building Wingblade.
Yep.
I don't know if you know about the build, but it's Rod Boots, Deso, Wingblade, or Rod Boots, Wingblade, Deso, Telkai's Bomba's Hammer.
No, I didn't know
And you kind of always have your 2 up due to the interaction with the 2 and all that. So
interesting.
Yeah, it's probably top of A plus or probably something around there. I think he's actually really good. I don't think he's a good hunter, but yeah.
Top of A plus. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna put him a little bit more to the middle because I feel like his stats, like his win rate and stuff, don't quite justify it. But I can see where you're coming from, and I think part of that is also that a lot of people are probably just not building like that. I've seen a lot of Gem of Focus builds on him, which are not necessarily bad, but probably not as good as constantly getting you 2 with Bombers. So, yeah, pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think this constant 2 up is just really good for Crows. Yeah. It feels really good.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anyone in mind? Oh, I haven't talked about him yet. Set. So I'm gonna do a hot take here. I mean, Set was obviously SS, no doubt, before this patch with Bombers and everything. And I think Set is still incredibly strong, for sure. But he got a nerf, and the Bombers interaction is, I would call it fixed, but changed next patch. So that he will no longer be able to like proc it off his 2 at all. Which in a way hurts him more than just not proccing it multiple times, because he literally doesn't proc it off the 2 at all. So he loses the Bombers proc, which means he will probably be better off, or possibly be better off even not going into Bombers and maybe going Mannequins or Eye of the Jungle. I don't know. Depends on what happens in the next patch. I think he's still very good with those items. I think those are very strong items. It's just not quite as broken.
Yeah. So I do think he's still going to be permabanned every game.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think his ultra's too good, to be honest with you.
That's fair.
It literally takes one misplay against Set, and you ought to lose the team fight.
That's true. The duration is incredibly long as well, which is like, I don't know why they thought it was okay.
If you're properly playing the Set and you never have to engage and you can force like escapes and stuff, you can literally just sit back and wait and then full engage and you just auto win every single team fight.
That's true. Okay, we'll put him SS still then.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna put him at the end here. I think Guan Apollo are gonna be a little bit better than him next patch, but he'll still be good. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I honestly think, I don't know if he can get like, I have to see how it actually works because it's broken on PTS. It didn't really work, but if the Mannequin's Scepter change works, he might be very interesting with that, because then you apply so much extra damage per basic on a god like him, which would not be fun. Oh, we haven't done him yet. How do you feel about Gap at the moment?
I think he is. I think Geb's always like a good gun, but the problem is getting him out of his like really bad early game. And ranked, at least in NA, is very fast paced, and you usually can't get Geb out of his early game. You kind of just run him down. And also have to keep in mind that Sunder is being bought more often, so you can break the shield instantly. I think he's just. I think he's balanced. I think he's just probably A. It's just very hard to get him out of the early game. You lose your lane. It's like almost guaranteed that you lose lane. I think he's probably just balanced, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah. What's interesting is that he seems to be very valued at the moment. I'm not entirely sure why. He's got a really high pick and ban rate. I'm not really sure where it's coming from. Like he's got I
guess maybe since there's a lot of dive going on. He has a good anti-dive
character. I mean, also, if you want to go crit, then you kind of have to get him out.
True.
It's like he sits at 10% pick rate in Diamond, but 20% ban rate, which is surprisingly high for Gap, being.
Yeah.
I'm possibly thinking end of A plus, because I'm
done to put him there. I think the biggest struggle is just getting him out of his early game. I think once he's out, I think once he's around level 12, he can start making like an impact. He has his shield maxed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just like it's really hard to get him like rolling. No pun intended. But
that was absolutely intended. Yeah. Okay. Put him there.
What do you think of Mori? Funny enough. I think Moria is an insta-put learn them, in my opinion.
Yes, I was going to say, I think Morrigan is really strong right now, but
I do think she is like, if there was an S plus tier, I would put her S plus, just because she's auto pressure.
yeah.
She's always been auto pressure.
Mm-hmm.
She scales with every single god right now.
Yeah.
Fun, or I should say unfun thing. Ansile does screw her over with her interactions a lot of the time, though.
True.
If you go in and you hit a jungler or like a soul lane or something and you stun them and they have Ansile, this can also work for backliners, since backliners are sometimes building Ansile. And you hit a backliner, even if you're 2 or you're 1 or whatever, and you can't like full do your combo and you can die in your combo. So it is a bit, Ansile does screw her over, but I think she's just too good of a character, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But she's very, very hard to play. And I think for her being very hard to play, because you do have to know all the gods and everything like that, I think it's valued for her to be like very good.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously there is like a lot of punishment to her. I think some of the gods like Pele, Kama are really good into her. Constant knockups. Susano is really good into her. Rat is really good into her. Just gods that can like interact, like stop her from doing what she wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, definitely.
But I think she's really good.
It's actually interesting that at the moment she has a 50% win rate, which is very in Platinum Plus, which is very unusual for her, because normally, because she's hard to play, her win rate is lower than that. Normally it's like 46% or something. So she is she's doing really well for which god she is, basically.
Yeah, maybe people are just learning her more.
Possibly, and she's also less buggy. I think that also helps it.
That is true.
Most of the glitches are ironed out now.
Yeah.
Most, not all, but most.
Yeah.
And I think the new starters also make things easier for her. I mean, if you build a starter in the first place, but like that just facilitates certain situations in early game where you need a lot of clear and stuff. I had someone else in mind right now, but I forgot who it was. We'll get back to it. Oh no, here, King Arthur. King Arthur was in the like early days of season 8, or in the PTS days. Everyone thought that King Arthur was going to be completely broken because of Bluestone, and then everyone realized that, hey, Bluestone is not that broken, because we can build Warrior's Eggs, which has mitigation. We can build Mannequins, which has mitigation, and then King Arthur doesn't do anything. And through that, he kind of fell off a lot in terms of perception. Yeah, and it's always this thing with King Arthur that I know that certain pros play him really well and say he's busted, he's top tier, you should play him. And then you see people pick him up, and if you look at the stats right here, he has a 45% win rate in Plat, a 49% in Diamond, and a 44% in Masters. It's just like...
I do think it's okay to put him in Learn Them.
Yeah.
I do think, in my opinion, I think he's easy, but I think he does have a learning curve, and it's also very... he's not as where he used to be, where you could just mash all your keys and just get in there. Because again, in my opinion, I think time to kill is down, so you die faster. So I think it's okay to put him and learn them, just because now, as much as you're learning like all the combos and stuff of the god and everything like that, you also now have to learn like when's the quote unquote like right time to go in and stuff like that. How to stack your passive late game and keep that up. Who's the right target to go on with like your big ults that lifts them up into the sky, how to properly do your movement, how to juke in your abilities and stuff like that. Like there's a bunch of different things. So yeah, I think it's completely fair to leave him and learn them.
I want to point out that what's good for him as of recent is that they took the flat mitigation off Warrior's X, and they buffed the Bluestone upgrade as well. The extra health on the Bluestone. So he's got some changes that actually help him a little bit as well. Should put him in a bit more of a stronger place overall, I would say.
Yeah.
But it's not a first pick solo, I would say.
Yeah.
And Arthur Jungle is unfortunately dead now, but it was dead before, but now it's really dead.
What do you think of Nemesis?
She is good. She's really good, I would say. Yeah. She's such a strong all-rounder pick. I think every jungle tier list, every jungle placement that I've seen lately just puts her as like the S tier jungler that you want to pick when she's open, because she's never a bad pick.
Yeah.
Like, she's a third highest win rate right now.
She does have a rough early game, but
But it's not as
not
bad
as
as it
bad.
used to be. Like
Yeah.
it used to be way worse.
Especially with Eye of the Jungle.
Yeah.
You have Mannequin as well, that she's scaling with her power as well, the more attack she hits on you.
Yeah.
And taking your power, I believe, if that's still a thing. Hopefully.
Yeah, I think so.
And she just hits like a truck. I mean,
Yeah.
And AA cancels with her 3 and everything like that. I mean, she's so good right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, and she utilizes like the new builds in general really well, like beyond Eye of the Jungle, like the stone cutting ninja tabe build, because you get even more prot shot. Then she can go into crit from there, or she can go into kins, or she can go into more ability based choices. She can go into Erendite if she wants to. So a lot of flexibility. So I would say she's just
probably
a S tier god.
Right with Kuang for sure.
Yeah, I would actually value her a little bit over Kuang even because she's so easy to pick up as well. Like Nemesis.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. You just pick her and you know how to play her.
Well,
what's that?
The shield is really. I think she's good into Scylla, but she's good into Scylla and she's not good into Scylla. I think it goes both ways. But
depends on who hits what.
Yeah, Nem's really good at getting to backline and stuff like that. So, yeah. Since Basta, I believe Basta's getting a rework again, right? That's
right.
What they said.
Yes.
What do you think of Basta right now?
I haven't played her much because I just don't like playing her, to be honest. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
It's
I think she's actually. I don't think she's actually that terrible, but
yeah, you just have to want to go for that. Like one thing that sucks for her, she like most of the time either you build into Eye of the Jungle at the start, which is awkward, or you sell your starter late game because she doesn't really get much out of Bombas, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So you just you just not making use of the starter upgrades, which I don't really like. Because you're usually just better off going full power, full pen, building the same things she has always built: Jotun's Wrath, Transcendence, Brawlers, Heartseeker, whatever.
What's her? I wonder if you can do like double 3s and stuff like that in your ult. Do her cats die if you double 3 with Bombos? You can proc it twice. Because in theory, you could have 6 cats on one person.
I'm not sure actually.
I really haven't faced Bastet.
Yeah.
Every single time I face Bastet, I'm like facing against it, and they lose the game in like 25 minutes before she can get going. Yeah.
See, the problem with the double 3 is that it also requires you to get close to the enemy and auto cancel to even get enough for the reset, which is not what you typically do.
Do anyway, yeah. You just dump your kit and get out. And just wait. And go in again.
It's weird. But the problem is we don't even
of B. I don't think she's trash.
Yeah, we don't even have stats for her.
I don't know. She's pretty close, I guess.
Like no one even plays her. You can't even say if she's good or bad because like her win rate is like 50% because no one picks her. She's got a 2% pick rate and a 0.1% ban rate.
I mean, she's probably not trash.
No, I don't. I think she's better than Freya, for example. So I think she's like maybe like is she in middle of B? Is she son of B?
I think Baka can win more games than Bastet can. So maybe under Baka.
Maybe, yeah. But then again, she can. I don't know. Can she still split push even? She kind of can, I guess. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, it's like
maybe there's some secret. Maybe some secret stat build I just don't know about. Maybe you have to go Bumba's spear and actually just clear objectives the whole time or something.
Yeah.
Who knows? But she's weird. I'm glad she's getting another rework, even though I actually technically like the new ult. I think it's cool that you have like these amped up abilities, but it just doesn't work. I think the new 3 is the problem. It's just weird to throw one cat. Just eat that cat out there. I don't know.
Ooh, what do you think of Thoth? I'm actually curious what people think of Thoth. Or what do you think?
I think he's better than he used to be. I think the fact that you can, play this artillery mage playstyle a little bit better is nice. Especially, like you said, like people get blown up very quickly, and he has the option to just stay further away from the enemy, which I think helps him. I know that some people think he's really, really strong right now. I don't know because I haven't really seen him that much.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I do love Thoth. I love playing that guy, but I think there's a lot of gap closing right now. I think he runs into the same problem as Perse right now, where it's very easy to close the gap.
Yeah.
On them.
Yeah, like you said, like certain gods that just haven't been really played before that way. Like Loki, for example, is kind of annoying to deal with for Thoth, who just we'll see a bit more of, and
maybe he's around where Agni is, maybe.
What's
I
that?
don't think he. I think he's really good in ranked. I think he can carry games, but I think he's kind of just middle of the pack, to be honest. I
Yeah,
mean,
I would say A is pretty good for him, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, I think when he's good in the games, I think he's really good. And you can definitely feel it, especially like, he's a lane bully, obviously. There's not a lot of lane bully mages. Person probably thought that the two lane bullies in mid. But I mean, he does run into the same problem as Perse. They're both very similar in the ways that they can die very easily. Obviously, Perse has, overall a better kit, in my opinion, than Thoth. But they do different things. They just both die in similar ways.
Do you run him with what's it called? Warriors X upgrade, Sentinels? Is it Sentinels X?
Yes. If you get if you're against like a hard dive comp, I think if you go Embrace, he feels a lot better.
Wait, no. I mean the Warriors upgrade, the
Sundering X.
Sundering X, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, so if you hit him through a wall, it's really good because obviously taking health and healing yourself and stuff is like really, really good. But yeah, I think he's just okay. I think he's right next to Perse probably.
Yeah, fair. Wait, you just mentioned another god that I was thinking of now, but I forgot. We can look at Heim anyways. Heim is interesting. Heim's been played, I think, twice today in the games that I saw. He's definitely still an interesting one, I would say.
I think last year was kind of perma-picked by a couple of teams. I think he's a more of a competitive god, halting frontline out of a complete fight and making them not be able to do something for, is it 2 seconds, 3 seconds?
It feels like forever. That's all I know.
But yeah, it's hard to judge him really.
It's interesting. Statistically, he's really popular, picked and banned a lot, but he's doing really poorly. Like, he's a 47% win rate. He doesn't even reach 50% win rate anywhere except Masters. So
he's definitely a top-end character because I think people use his ult for damage, or they just all in like a squishy, and then they just die because they beat him, and then he's not really a character.
Yeah.
But I think if you're really playing around the backline properly and you're getting Dove, for example, and then just ulting your frontliner away, I think top end players will always buy beats on solo laners, so it is harder to do it. But yeah, maybe I guess beads is being bought more since Thorns isn't spam bought, and he was good versus Thorns because when they Thorns you just press 4 and you ult them away. But maybe now that beads is being bought more, he's not as good. Maybe that's why his decrease is there.
I'm just thinking if he's maybe like just a learn them god, because I feel like that's a huge disparity.
I would be fine with putting him there, in my opinion.
I think there's just a huge disparity between just running at the enemy and dumping your kit and hoping it works out, and just strategically using it. And I don't think you see much of that until like very high levels of play.
Yeah. I would be okay. I think I guess it's a little weird for maybe some people to see that, but if you really think about it, it's probably a learn them for sure.
I'm just trying to figure out where else would like.
I mean, I think he's in the middle of A+, but I think he does require a big learning curve to play him properly.
Like if I'm looking at, like, for example, Izanami in comparison, like with Izanami you can just run it down and it works. Yeah. With Heim you can't do that, and with Heim you also, like, in late game you're gonna run into certain barriers where you're not an Apollo or a Danzaburou that have like either insane and super easy self peel because you have to use it properly with them, or massive AA stories or something that offset that. So like either A+ or learn them. We'll just leave them and learn them, but people watch the video and they know where whale be. Okay,
what about... Oh, you want to go?
I have one that's just super easy. He can stay right there.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
am not going to move Janos anywhere else. I refuse. So Janos it's interesting because Janos has been valued really highly this season because he got the buff to the 2, and then later he got the buff to the 1 as well. And his win rate is actually higher than it used to be. Like it used to always be like, he used to be like the worst god and the worst mage for the longest time. And now I don't think he is any longer. I'm trying to see where he actually ended up. Yeah, he's like close to 50% win rate. But he's like the most picked banned god. It's just that there's so many people picking Janos that cannot play him.
Yeah.
It's just...
I think it's perfectly fine to put him and learn them for sure. He does run into the problem that sometimes, your frontline. I think frontlines love facing this god. I've heard it like a million times. Frontliners just love it because he doesn't do damage to frontline. I mean, he's not a frontline shredder.
Yeah,
he's a dive god. So yeah, I mean, I think that's fine. I think it there's like a couple different. I think there's like 3 different playstyles really to Janus. So I think it's perfectly fine to just leave him there. And,
if we didn't put him there, just to place him there, would you put him like around S or?
Yeah, I think he's. I think at higher end games, not being able to kill frontline is really a struggle. So maybe he's A+, top of A+. Because obviously, diving in sync is a big thing with Janus. If you're not diving in sync, it's really hard to use him properly. So yeah, probably just A+, top of A+.
I'm gonna put him here for 1 second, just so people see where we'd roughly place him.
That's fair.
And then he goes back here.
Yeah.
How does he? I actually don't know this. How does he work against Ensile? Is that something that hurts him a lot, or is he out of range for the proc?
Not too much. I mean, if you choose someone up close, you get Ensile proc, but I mean, you're usually already in your 3. You also might have already 3'd them. Yeah. You might have a portal already prepped. You have your ult. I mean, he's pretty fast, so it's kind of hard to like lock him down on that stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just hope for the day where I don't see him as much anymore. It's just like you get the odd one out, like one every 5 games where somebody plays him really well, and then you get 4 Janos players that just.
Yeah, I don't think actually a lot of people like playing Janus on the team.
No, people like playing Janos, but they don't want them on their team.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the ult's obviously nice, but
yeah,
then you also get so many misplaced ults that it's just. Okay.
What do you think of Nox? Because I honestly hate seeing this character on my team. I think Nox is terrible. Yeah. I think Nox support actually isn't too bad.
I don't know. I think Nox support, if you can play it really well, sure, but how many people can actually play Nox support well, In
my opinion, I do think she is trash.
Yeah.
You don't really want her on your team from a mid lane perspective because she's a very selfish character anyway.
Yeah.
Like, if you miss your combo and you're full damage, you're not doing anything. You're sitting there.
Yeah.
You're sitting there with nothing. Yeah.
I think Nox is, when you're playing her, in Conquest specifically, she's a super fun character to play. But especially if you can play around the 3, it's so fun to just dash into someone and then blow someone else up immediately. But it's just, I would say, like top end of C tier is where she'd end up, because she doesn't have the stats to back it up either. So it's just it's too hard to make work, honestly. And they gave a nice buff to the clear, but it just doesn't change her fundamental issues.
One going through walls is why I like her and support a little bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's just rough. Yeah. And especially like if you play a support and the enemy jungler acknowledges that early and abuses that, then there's not really that much you can do either, I feel. If you get hard engaged on.
I think honestly, for Zeus and Zhang, I think they're both in pretty similar spots with Anubis right now.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Let's do them one after each other. But I think people undervalue Zeus. Like a lot of people think that Zeus is complete trash.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure why.
I mean, to be fair, like in ranked, you do want to play. I mean, just in general, when you have a Zeus, you want to play like protect the president, right?
Yeah, so, for sure. I mean, maybe that's the reason. Maybe it's like they just don't get enough peel, and then it's just.
Yeah. I think Anubis or Zeus, is easy with Anubis.
Yeah.
Just due to the fact because he needs a team comp built around him. Yeah. So I think that's fine to put him there, to be honest with you.
Yeah. He's got really high win rates, but he's barely picked. So it's just, you have to have the right comp, the right players with you to do it.
I agree.
Yeah,
Zhang. I think Zhang is less team oriented. The problem with Zhang is late game. Whenever you face people that know what they're doing, you get sundered and you'll die in your ult.
Yeah.
But I recently played him with like going full lifesteal, even with lifesteal or anti-heal being buffed. And it did feel pretty good. But it did just get late game. I pressed my 4, I got sundered and died. So, and I don't think you can really play Zhang in solo either, because he's really easy to just force the ult and then blue buff invade.
Yeah, and he doesn't really pressure much there either. Like he doesn't really get objectives and stuff, and I think that's really crucial in solo.
Maybe he's better than Nox. Maybe he's in B.
I just looked at his stats, and compared to Zeus, I think we can't justify B. Like Zeus sits at 55% win rate in Platinum Plus, and Chang'e, who's only picked like a fraction of every other god, still only sits at 48% win rate. I think that's just not enough.
I think he's like rare, like close to Nox, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would say he's maybe like a little bit ahead of Nox, because if you get to the stage of the game where you can work with your team, you have some items online, and they can peel a little bit for you, so you can get your whole ult off, then he's strong, but big if.
Yeah.
I don't even know which, like, in terms of starters, there's also nothing that... What would you... Probably just Sentinels or something, eh? I don't even know what you build.
Sentinels, probably pretty good for him. Sundering Axe, not too bad for him.
No.
Heals him, so...
Speaking of low-tier self-healing guards that are mages...
he is getting a buff. So...
Right, he is. I forgot about that.
But that's only
wait, did that already happen?
We'll use that. No, it did not.
Wait, they just didn't put them in order here. Okay, yeah. Okay, but the first part of the buff is the hollow ground buff, is increasing the healing from 5% to 7% of max health, which is basically just reverting the brawling
20.
effect. That's not actually a buff, right? And then he's getting the Corp explosion, 10% scaling.
Yeah, I think he's a good guy when you're facing healers. I did end up playing him at Worlds.
Yeah, but that's competitive. Like for ranked, would you pick him in ranked?
Yeah. So I think he's it's not a god that you're playing for your KDA. It's a god that, in my opinion, you just kind of want to get in there. But that's being the purpose of Blink. And you just go in there and you just get all your damage off. Because if you're going to engage on him push, you're going to lose it every single time. That, in my opinion, deeming him in probably the bottom of B.
Okay.
I think he's better than Zhang, Nox, Baron, Freya.
You're going to make a lot of people happy with that one.
Yeah, I do think he is better.
Okay.
But if you're playing him as a normal mage, where if you're getting engaged on, you're going to lose every time. So that was the reasoning for why I went blinking at season 7, was because if you're going to get engaged on it anyway if you're push. If you're not going to engage on this push, you're going to win every single fight. That's just a fact. That's just kind of how the character is designed. But if you can just engage and just get everything off, like after someone engages or whatever, or if someone blinking on you to close a gap on you and you blink their blink and you just go in and you just die, obviously you're relying on people like following up. But in theory, he is just better than the other characters. And he has a built-in anti-heal, which always, obviously with, Death's Embrace being built and stuff like that. Yeah. Built-in anti-heal is always like a fun factor and stuff like that. So...
All right, we're going to call this the Ven special.
Yeah, you can call it that. I'll take it.
This is your call. This is your spicy...
Yep, that is me.
Spicy choice.
Yep.
I have to admit, I haven't played or seen him in ages, so I really have no judgment because everyone just considers him trash. But, maybe I'll have to play some Blink Poit. See how it feels. Just piss off my teammates a little bit.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, we'll see. He is getting a buff after all. Maybe that's just what he needs just to get him a little bit up. I still predict that he might be, like, because Hyros hasn't said the reword guards yet outside of Bastet. I still predict he might be another one of those that might get a rework. Because I don't think they want to touch Nox, because some people just really like Nox, especially outside of Conquest.
Yeah.
But Apuash, I think, is generally...
It's a fair one, too.
Not favored.
Yeah. Well, I actually wanted to talk about Loki with his buff.
Oh yeah, let's go.
I think I've seen the character already doing work in solo lane and jungle right now with going. Obviously, you don't go with the thorns anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You just go Sunder on him instead.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going hybrid items again as usual. As before, you don't just go full damage, you go the hybrid items.
Which is easy in
like
jungle now as well, which is a very good, change for him.
I think when he got changed, people really overlooked him. I think obviously the better players saw that you can play him in a completely different way than what he did before. Which I think in the lower end players, it did take a while to figure out that obviously going full damage Loki, no longer the play. Honestly, I do think with the buff, he's a very, very good levels 1 through 3 character. His all in and mid is literally insane. Especially with his backstabs on his 3 and the second wave, you can invis in, auto someone and just literally just press 3 and you can kill them.
Yeah.
I think he's actually going to be really good, especially with those buffs. He's tankier. You can one in sunder someone, auto them if you're in the auto range with your one, and then ult them, and you can easily kill a backliner. It's just a different play style.
Yeah.
I honestly really wouldn't be surprised with the buff if he's spam picked quite often. Maybe that puts him, middle of the pack in A+. Maybe that puts him on top A. Hard to tell.
I'm done with A+. I've been placing Loki higher for a while. Yeah. I think he's just really undervalued. A lot of people just never got over the fact that you can't just build every mace and win the game.
And he's not really a spam split pusher anymore either.
Yeah. But he's sitting very comfortably at 53% win rate right now in higher levels of ranked, 54%. He uses Bombas very well because he can basically instantly get his stealth back. And he uses basics all the time in routine anyways. He's the prime attack handler, kind of similar to Kabrakan as an assassin, basically. Yeah, and everything else he said, and he's getting buffs over buffs over buffs, and people still think he's bad for some reason. So yeah, I'm completely down with that. I definitely think maybe here, yeah.
Yeah,
I think he's
good to me.
I think he's very strong. I think people really sleep on Loki or intentionally.
I agree.
Intentionally underrate him at this point. I think some of the Loki mains actually have figured out that he's good and just keep saying he's bad so that no one picks him. It's just the 400 IQ strat. Okay. Bellona is interesting because Bellona initially got valued really highly this season because she was one of the best guards for solo mannequin builds. Yeah. That's not really the play anymore, but she works decently with Death Toll, I would say.
Yeah.
She's still picked quite a lot. She's still doing well. I would say she's not the first pick type of guard, but I think she's a good solo.
I think fun enough, I think right now Ama and Bellona are both in the same spot right now, and I think they're kind of just the balanced part of solo lane, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think they shine when you're able to shine with the gods, but there are just better gods than them.
Yeah.
I think Achilles as well. Funny enough, I think the A and B gods, they're pretty close. That they're. I think Achilles is if I were to put it, I would put Bellona, Ama, and Achilles. I would put Bellona, Ama in A, and then I would put Achilles in A+, just due to him having, an execute and more pressure and stuff like that. I think Bellona's laning phase, obviously being lane bully, very potent character, especially with Death's Embrace and everything that. But at the same time, she's a character that gets disrupted majority of the time. Her late game doesn't shine too much. She's not really too good. She's a very good god. For around where the average time right now of games are ending, she's really good at burning objectives. She's really good at doing Phoenix sieges or tower sieges with just dropping your ult, up down and using it as a sieging mechanic or doing it. So in my opinion, I think she's in the balance thing, right in A, in my opinion, just kind of how she is right now. For Amma, she's received a lot of nerfs. I've also seen a lot of people saying that she doesn't feel as impactful as she previously has. I think Amma is better. I think maybe Amma's top of A, beating Bologna, just because she does have an impact around the map. She's faster and she can get really easy invades off, and she's a really good diver as well as a peeler, and has objective shed similar to a Bologna, but just obviously on her 1 and her passive autos. So I would put like Bologna in the middle, Amma top of A, and Achilles I would put probably bottom of A plus, just due to him having the execute.
Okay, hold
hold
on.
To build hybrid.
I agree with Bologna and Amma. They actually both are on a very similar pick and ban rate, and Bologna similar win rate, but Bologna is picked and banned a fair bit more, especially picked. So I would say those are A. But I don't think Achilles is A plus right now, because Achilles is literally the second worst warrior in terms of win rate right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm actually surprised.
I think his solo is just not that good. His laning phase is just not that good. I mean, his CC is very telegraphed, so you can play around with more characters.
Maybe competitive god.
Maybe, yeah.
That could be it.
I mean, I don't know if it's that people are just not getting enough out of the execute. That could be it.
Yeah.
But I mean, he got a variety of changes over time that just kind of threw him all over the place.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not really doing. He's definitely not doing better than Amma or Bologna right now. Not even close. He's actually doing worse than King Arthur.
I was actually surprised by that. Funny enough.
So yeah, let's put these two in A. I think they're just solid A gods. I know some people argue Bologna A plus. I'm not opposed to that either, but like it's just I think they're just solid picks. They don't stand out. Do
you think then Achilles would be like bottom of A or top of B?
Yeah, that's the question. I think he's not terrible.
Maybe he's just.
I think he's still valued. Like he still has a higher pick rate than some others as well. I think he's maybe he's bottom of A, because I wouldn't say he's like worse than Baba or Arachne. And the worst performing, we can get to her right now, just to make sense of that. Where is she? The worst performing solo or warrior right now is Mulan, even after her buff. And I think Achilles, like I would say Mulan is probably around B tier, and Achilles is not as bad as Mulan.
I will say the Mulan buff didn't go through yet.
Oh right, is that next? Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's 8.3.
True. Huh. Maybe she. That makes me think that maybe we should put Achilles in B, because then maybe Mulan might actually go up a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to tell. When can you cancel the ult as Mulan?
Yeah, it's like I played Mulan on PTS a little bit, but I played her in jungle, and unfortunately, like I had the item glitch that mannequins didn't work and stuff. But I realized that there aren't that many situations where I actually ended up wanting to cancel it, because like the problem with the cancel is, right, the parts of the ult that you want are the first part where you root them, and the second part where you knock them up. And the knock up is what takes really long. So the first part is really quick, then it takes a really long time to knock up, and then the last part is the arrow. And the arrow comes pretty quickly after the knock up, so it's not really worth canceling the arrow, because it comes right after anyways. You just lose damage basically. But if you cancel after the dash, then you lose the knock up, which is, slowing down the enemy that's chasing you as well. And often enough in an escape situation, you're not even going to dash through an enemy in the first place. You won't need to cancel, because you're only getting the first part anyways. So initially I thought the cancel would be massive, but I think there are actually not that many situations where you can apply it. Like they exist, of course, but
when can you cancel the ult exactly? Can you cancel it on startup of the knockup? Because in theory,
yes. Like, but not when if you cancel it on startup of the knockup, it cancels the knockup as well, as far as I'm able to tell. Unless there was a PTS lag thing, it might be that on normal ping it's better, but I don't think so. I think it just cancels whatever part you're firing.
Because in theory, you can cast the knockup, right, cancel it, and then use your 3 and pull them in combo. So you can do a combo way that way.
I don't know if that works on low ping. I can't say for sure, but as far as I can tell, it doesn't. And again, you lose the follow-up damage from the arrow, which is really shortly after that. I didn't realize how quick it comes. The big.
I really do think Mulan is a bad god, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's really bad. Maybe the buff helps. I have no clue. It's kind of hard to tell, right?
Yeah. Maybe we just put Mulan at like on grounds of the buff
maybe?
at like B, like just maybe
yeah.
if she does better, then she can go up or not.
Yeah.
I don't know. And the same with Achilles. Like I'm just like she's somewhere between here, but it depends. It depends. He doesn't feel awful to play, and I guess maybe we'll see some like Achilles Bambas jungle as well. I don't know. I haven't seen much of that. It could be interesting as well. So who knows? Kind of a question mark, I think. While we're speaking about solos, let's pull up Tyr. How do you feel about Tyr?
I think Tyr is a very matchup dependent god. So in theory, you could put him in the middle of a under Amma and Bolonix, since they're in theory less matchup dependent. I think I think Tyr is pretty like it's like a solid Agni of the soul lane. Being just like
I like
the
that.
balanced
I like that.
factor of it.
I like that. That's
yeah.
Put him next to Agni.
Yeah, he's kind of like when in the matchups he wins them really hard. And he's very potent. In the matchups he loses them very hard and doesn't do anything. You know? So
his stats also reflect that he's 50% win rate. He actually has a pretty decent increase in pick and ban rate, mostly pick rate, because it's just an easy, safe pick, right? You just pick him.
For sure.
But then, especially in late game, you also need to make the plays. You need to make good feelers, and otherwise it's pretty useless. So you just live, you just run around and live.
What do you think of Nike right now? She was popular before, but I think she's actually really bad.
Yeah, I don't even know if she's better off I don't know if she's better off as of a jungler or a solo at this point, because I don't know if I would want to play her in either role.
Yeah.
Like you said, Sunder is a problem. She obviously Nike always has a high win rate, but that's because of her passive alone. It just makes things weird. I don't know why, but I find her kit so clunky. It's so like you spend so long in your 1, you spend so long in your 2, and then you slow people a little bit and you knock them up a little bit. It's
Maybe she's top of B.
Yeah.
Maybe she's just above Mulan. I mean, she probably is above Mulan, to be fair.
Well, actually, I want to put her at the end of A because I think she's a little bit better in terms of if you want to win, she's a bit better than Achilles. She's not going to be fun to play, but she wins the game by proxy.
That's true.
By buffing your ADC and your mage.
You could, in theory, as well, put Suki probably at like S. To be honest, especially with the Bombas interaction.
Yeah. I would say like middle of S. I think he's not like over. Well, maybe like I don't know.
He almost has like the same mechanic as Set. He just doesn't have Set's ult. You know.
Yeah, and I don't understand why they don't do like a more targeted nerf. I think what they should do with Bombas is make it proc once per ability every X seconds. So each ability can proc it once, so you can use it 4 times, but then you can't use it for so and so many seconds on each of these abilities, because that would fix Tsukuyomi's interaction with it immediately. They're not doing that, so it's just weird because he can just run down people with his 1 and just basically just uses 1 and basic attacks over and over and over. It doesn't always work. You need some peel. You need someone who like keeps the rest of the team off you, but when it works way too well.
Yeah, and now people are getting used to the Bombas thing, and they're going Mana Chalice now, so they're always keeping the mana.
Wait, I didn't even know that. So they like for late game specifically.
Yeah, because you run when you're spamming your 1s all the time. So
yeah, definitely. Interesting.
Swap up Mana Chalice.
I should try
that mana.
It's really annoying. Like in some builds it works because you have MP5 from something else. Like I know that some junglers have started building trends again just for that, but in others it's kind of annoying.
Ooh, I actually what do you think of Bacchus?
God, I have not seen much of Bacchus. I think like what's nice for him at the moment is that he has anti-heal. So that helps him. I
think he's really bad.
I still think like the laning phase is just so annoying to play.
Yeah, a lot of the time also you can't even like engage. Like if you flop in, a lot of times you just die.
Yeah,
you don't even do anything.
Yeah, Yes,
Like, a lot of the
I
supports,
just
are
can't
really
take
good
Bacchus
too.
seriously as a pick. He's just always like a meme pick to me. When I play Bacchus, I go full damage, sure, whatever.
Yeah, honestly, I would put him in C, and I don't even be mad about it. I really just don't think he
Yeah.
does much, to be honest.
Looking at his stats, he's like actually okay in win rate. He's like 50% ish.
Mm-hmm.
Pick rate 4%. It's not terrible.
I mean, I think if you're like, if you know how to play against like Bacchus, which I think is pretty simple, you kind of just instant kill him. If he's
Yeah.
like, he doesn't have any CC immunity, he can get CC chained, and he kind of just dies.
I'm kind of contemplating if he's maybe like end of B tier because we have a Perse with Sol there.
Yeah, I guess maybe.
I don't know if
It is hard to say. He's just such a weird guy. I think he's in such a bad spot right now.
I would, yeah, okay. I'm gonna put him B tier with the argument that he also benefits from not having to build Thebes, much like Sobek or Ymir,
Yeah.
but to a much lesser extent because he's just
Mhm.
kit-wise very strange to play. Speaking of Guardians and changes as well, Athena gets
He's
a
all
buff.
damage.
She's getting a buff to a 2, which increases, or which gives the ability damage.
Honestly, I really would put that god in top of 8+. Really, not gonna lie. I think that god's gonna be played in solo. I think she's gonna be played in jungle.
Yeah, I think she's gonna be played more in solo or jungle than in support.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the taunt damage in support, it's nice for the wave, but it's not that big. But Finoke has been spamming her in solo with Death Toll because she can cleave that. And then now she will clear even better with like 3 damaging abilities and the spears.
Yep. And there's not any counterplay to the taunt, to be honest with you. You can't really pre-egg it. You can't really like Aegis the taunt damage. You know, you just taunted. Right. I think she's gonna be really good.
All right, we're putting her top of A+ as a prediction. See where she falls. I would not be surprised if she gets better than that, but again, I don't think it's gonna be a support thing. I think her support.
Yeah, it's gonna be off roll.
Like it's gonna be solo or jungle, because jungle the benefit of jungle is that she also is like Cabrakan. She's super good with Bamba's Hammer. Because that gives her a second ability rotation, which is exactly what she wants in a team fight.
Yeah, I agree.
You just have to be a little bit tanky to do that.
I think Kokolin, you could probably put fast up in S. I think he's been top picked in like every game right now.
I think he's probably like towards the front here as well, right? It's just he got a nerf, but the nerf doesn't change anything, honestly.
Yeah, he uses kind of 3 different starters, and you can use every single one pretty easily. That being Bluestone, Tainted, and or Bluestone. Actually, Bluestone, Tainted, and was Warrior's Axe.
Yeah,
and he uses them all really well.
It's interesting. His win rate is actually not that high, but his pick rate and ban rate is so high. It's just like I think he's a god. I think that's not banned not as much as some others, and that's why he's picked a lot, and everyone who sees him just picks him. So you'll have some people who don't play him that well, but overall he just frag.
Kind of does frag.
Yeah. I think what they have to consider at some point is if the shield in the rage form is really necessary or has to be this large, because there's so many situations where like he goes into a fight, he boxes, then he transforms and suddenly has more power and a shield and a ticking dot on you at the same time. Just like, oh, okay, I guess I die now. There is counterplay, but I feel like it's very limited compared to other gods. I don't know if you could like run a first Relic Sunder to counter it or something, but that feels... I don't know, man. On the topic of solos, Hercules, I would say Hercules can stay right here. Because Hercules is the epitome of a god that people think is strong, but they cannot play. It's just
that's actually fair.
It's
that's what happened with support as well.
Yeah, especially in support. I think in support it's even worse because you have fantastic setup with your 2-1 combo, or even just then being used individually, or if you're even better, you do the 2 blink 1 combo. But most players don't hit that most of the time.
That's true.
And his stats reflect that. He's got like a 47% win rate, which is like top 4 worst warriors right now. I know for a fact if I play Hercules, it's gonna go wrong because I'm just not gonna land the pulls often enough for it to be worth it. If you can play him, I'd say he's like maybe A+-ish around there. I think he's a good support, good solo if you can play him. But it's a big if.
Yeah, that's true. What about Fenrir has been
Oh yeah, he's got a big
And
buff.
he got a giant buff.
Yeah.
With his too.
Yeah. With Fenrir, I'm just kind of between two tiers. Because I actually want to see his stats to see. Okay, his stats actually gone up as well. I was gonna say I'm between A plus and S, but I think he's justifiable for S, honestly.
Yep. I would put him S really easily, to be honest. I think he's right around where probably Kuang is.
Yeah.
Probably better. Just he's probably a more consistent god.
Yeah. I think what's really strong for Fenrir is not only the buffs, but also Bambas, just giving him so much sustain in late game. If you use that with his tool, you just heal up so much. And he can always go a little bit tanky as well. So it's a really fun combination. I always find it, I don't know why, but I always find that he has a bit of a hard time getting off foot, considering he's meant to be an early game god. He sometimes doesn't feel that strong early. If one thing goes wrong in early game, it makes you struggle for a long time. But once you get past that, like he used to be weaker in late game, and that was his downside. And now you get Bamba, so you're just staying as strong as you were. So
yeah,
not really any weak points anymore that I would,
True.
I guess speaking of Fenrir, we can talk about Awilish because she's the number one counter. How do you feel about her at the moment?
Honestly, weirdly enough, I really wouldn't even mind putting her at learn them. Because
as somebody who says she's very easy to play,
yeah,
I should disagree, but I don't.
As easy it is to press 4 on someone that's jumping. There's a whole different side of her, in my opinion, to her whole entire late game. How you're supposed to properly play her late game.
Yep.
When her true power spikes are, how to maximize the usage of her passive, how to use her 3 properly. Even if you miss an auto, do you 2? Even if you have the proc on her and stuff like that. In my opinion, there's a lot of things to her.
Yeah.
Honestly, she may. I've been seeing a little more with the crypt build that I'm seeing more often on her being built. She is definitely always a character that she's very certain. She's good into certain gods, and she's pretty comp dependent where you can pick her.
Yeah. But she is meant to be a counter god, so it makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. She does the count. Honestly, maybe she's the Agni per se, since she's balanced. Maybe she's the Agni of jungle. Maybe she's right there in A.
I'm thinking that maybe
she does her job.
It's interesting. I looked at her stats. Normally she's sitting slightly below 50% win rate because she's situational. At the moment, she's actually in Platinum Plus. She's at 53% win rate, which is really interesting. Which is really high for her specifically. Because normally, you're just kind of picking her counter matchups, but she's been picked a decent amount of she's been picked 7% pick rate. It's not by her standards, that's pretty good. Yeah. So I would almost say A plus maybe, or lower end A plus as a counter pick. At the same time, I'm not at all opposed to put her and learn them. I don't know. I don't know what's more fitting.
I think. So for the basics of Awilish, I think she's really easy to play. But I think there's a lot more to her.
Yeah.
That honestly, there's not a lot of players that have learned how to use her to the maximum, how to properly use her ult at the right time and then blink in and use your Arendite procs and your all the different procs and stuff like that, using that all timely and perfectly and stuff like that. She's definitely tough to play into shells late game. If both backline per se has shells and stuff like that, she's definitely tough to play into because you can't get your proc off. So maybe she's between maybe Bologna and Amma.
Interesting place.
I don't know. It's
an argument that would make for her is that she works very well with Hydras, and by extension of that, pretty decently with Bambas. It's a bit annoying with her 1 specifically, but still you can get you can often reset enough to get 2 2s off in a fight, which is huge for her.
That's fair.
So I think that helps her.
Can you 1 cancel for a Bambas proc?
I think you can, but because it uses mana, I haven't actually tried it, but I wouldn't do it in a fight because the one has a really long animation.
True.
So you're basically losing at least one basic attack, if not two, which means you actually lose damage anyways, unless you're specifically after the cooldown reduction. It's awkward to use the one in a fight unless you're trying to get out with it. It's just it can get you stuck in very awkward situations.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
I don't know. I think we just leave her and learn them, but I think she's like this territory somewhere. This area here, depending on. It really depends on the game and who you're against. If you're seeing the enemy picking first picking Fenrir, then by all means, go for it.
Loving that.
But then if the enemy picks Set, you're gonna have a bit of a problem because you have to ult his ult, and you might still lose the fight. So that's a bit unfun.
True.
It's matchup against ours okay as well. Tsuku's annoying because he has so much range damage, but she deals with them.
Yeah.
Loki would be if Loki becomes so popular, that's probably a problem for her because he just bursts her quite easily.
She can't really do anything.
Yeah. She has some really nasty matchups because two abilities also hinge on not being crippled, so that. But those are not really that popular. Like Artio, for example, is not popular at the moment, so that's not as much of a problem. Okay, let's just talk about Artio.
Yeah.
What does Artio do? I don't even know how Artio's doing.
She's I've seen her be picked a bit in solo with Vamp Shroud. She's really potent there. She does a lot of damage.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen Lass's Jungle Artio, the build that he's doing.
I have not. I am absolutely going to try it because I love Jungle Artio when it works.
Yeah. It's actually a really, really good build. It really uses Bomba's Hammer really well.
Yeah, makes sense.
And it has a lot of healing. It's a lot of pressure. Obviously, already has a lot of base damage, and she's beefy as well. Honestly, I obviously I haven't played any like scrims or anything, but every single game, even versus like high level players like we've faced, like Sam Hardy Duokyu, or we've faced the Sanguine guy, Shinto and Panaton Duokyu and stuff like that, and every single time we've run the Artio, I mean, it's been doing really well.
Okay.
So
interesting.
The Artio Jungle. So obviously that might,
I
think it is difficult to play and stuff.
What is that build?
I'm not 100% sure if I remember correctly, but it's like Bumbas, CDR boots. I think it's Soul Gem Deso Rod. And there's something else. I think it's something like that.
It's like really heavy power.
Oh, East maybe.
Okay. Yeah. I dig it. I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, you actually do a lot, and like your ability resets are kind of crazy with Bumbas since you can cycle your abilities like a lot.
Especially if you build Deso, you might just run into like too much reduction where you just constantly have all abilities and don't even get through them, man.
Yeah.
Do you think she's A tier or better?
I think she's probably A tier. I think it's safe. I think she's also fine. I think she's a fine soul laner. I think she's a fine support. She's probably I would put it there.
I'm gonna try that build. That sounds fun. Yeah, win rate is also backing that up. It's like 51%. Hunbat's an interesting one.
I think funny enough, isn't Hunbat's like one of those guys that are constantly in and out of the meta like all the time?
Yeah. Especially
he's always a hot pick.
He always gets picked in competitive, and then it like gets over to ranked, and then people realize, oh, maybe he's not that great in ranked, and then he goes back to not being picked, and then he gets picked again in competitive, and then
it's so weird. He's such a tough god because his ult is like so insane. His clear is really, really good, especially with the 3. It's such a hard.
I think I'll make it easy. Right now his win rate is average, like it's almost exactly 50%. And I think he doesn't stand out in this meta, but he's also not bad. I'd say he's just A tier. It's like Ganesha level.
Probably like wherever tier Agni, that's fine.
Yeah, like he's like the Agni or the tier. He's like he does his job. He does it well with his ultimate, but he's not insane. And he doesn't use Bombas that well because his wind up on the 2 is so long, and makes it a bit annoying to use. What about Hell?
Ooh, Ooh. I think she has her good matchups. I think it's hard. I don't think she's as good as the other healers.
Yeah, she's actually fallen off a lot compared to the other healers, looking at the stats.
Yeah. TTK being down, I think she dies very fast, and that's a big problem for her. She's very easy to apply Tainted Breastplate on for a frontliner. She's probably the easiest one. She doesn't have any CC to get away from it. Is it weird if I put her like maybe bottom of 8+? Maybe she still is a healer and she does do her job, and Hell is one of the more annoying in combat healers.
Where were you considering to put her before? Were you thinking about A?
Yeah, I was probably saying top of A.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably not the wrong call. Like, her pick rate is really low. Her win rate is 50%. I think,
and she does kind of get chomped by Fenrir as well, and Fenrir's a prominent pick like all the time, and loses the Ancile really hard.
Yeah. Can you even... You can't cleanse a Sobek plug either, right? Unless you pre-cleanse it.
Yeah.
So I think... Yeah, look at the guts up here.
As well.
That's a lot of rough matchups for her.
Yeah.
Even something like a Bracken that just runs over her without immediately being stopped, you know? It's just...
Agreed. Yeah.
Not fun.
Wukong.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this god, I think, is easy as. I think this god is so strong right now.
He's surprisingly good, honestly. I didn't think he would come out like on top, but he's doing
hybrid items in the game. He's always going to be strong. He's the best hybrid item user because it just does so much damage. Definitely. And his ult does so much. Soul Eater benefits him so much as well. Like,
it's funny how that's coming back so much now in solo. Like, you see so much of him. Yeah, I
think with everybody having having prots, I think Soul Eater having the 10% pen on it just helps them a lot.
Yeah.
They're dealing with that, so.
And he uses it so well. He uses it on everything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
He
does be loving that.
I played him in support the other day, and even there he doesn't feel bad. I mean, obviously not the preferable choice, but you know, it works. He does. And he can run everything. Like, if you do one of the builds that skip starter, he can do that very easily. So you can do like a breastplate or something in solo if you want to.
Yep.
So that's pretty nice. Oh, I should specify tainted breastplate because we have so many breastplates now.
True.
Yeah. While we're at warriors, there's another warrior that has a weirdly high win rate. That's Odin. I don't know why. I don't see that, but
yeah.
I feel like Odin is just like, he's a great counter in very specific matchups, but of all the enter-heal options that you have up here, I would not want an Odin, you know? They buffed his 3.
Bottom of A where like Nike and Achilles is?
Yeah, maybe, Maybe
he does have his counters that he's really good into.
Yeah.
He's just kind of there.
Yeah. It's like with the 3 buff, his solo clear, I think, is a little bit better, but you're not gonna, like, if you got into a Cthulhu, you're not gonna get pressure. You're just gonna sit there and wait for late game and hope that you can use your ult then.
Yeah, that's true.
It's rough. I don't know. I feel like pressure is very valuable in solo right now, and he just doesn't get it most of the time. But then he's still Odin.
Yeah. I think what do you think of Hades and Vlamana right now? I think they're both in like a really bad spot. They're both really bad.
Yeah, so let's start with Hades. Hades, I think, is just, it's super easy to punish. In solo, like the Hades whole deal is wave pressure. Hades can't
do it in solo anymore. Like, can he just like dash and clear? Doesn't he die to like Bluestone now and stuff?
It depends on the matchup, I would say. But even if he does, like, you're not getting that much out of lane pressure, because one of the big things for him is that he has the self-heal and he sustains endlessly, but he has basically no way to secure Scorpion. So the enemy solo laner can just get Scorpion and just get health back that way. And then it's just like, you heal there and I heal here. And you're not going to stop me.
And your healing is reduced by 30%.
Yeah.
That's the goal too.
Yeah, true. So I think those are things holding him back. As a mid laner, I think it's just really rough to even get in and not die in that process. At the same time, he probably still has a high win rate. I'm trying to look for it right now because he's Hades, and Hades always has a high win rate in ranked. Yeah, Hades is apparently, I think Aegis says this, Hades is always the top damage god in ranked. Always.
Not surprised.
But yeah, let's see how he's performing on higher levels. Platinum he's still as well, but in Diamond he drops off. I don't know.
Maybe top of B?
Yeah. I'm wondering if he's more like top of B or end of A.
Yeah.
But when do you really pick Hades? Like...
Yeah, I would rather have an execute instead of a Hades. And that's kind of where Achilles is right there, right?
But at the same time, like, it depends on who I have. You know, if I have a team comp that lacks big AoE CC, beats Burner, I think Hades is still very good for that. I mean, maybe if we have Odin at the end of A, then maybe we just put Hades there as well, because they kind of do similar things but differently. One is lane pressure, the other one is more like late game, but they both like control ult gods basically.
Yeah.
He's weird to play though. You got to know how to do it, I'd say.
I agree. Yeah. And for the Vamana, do you think... I think Vamana's really bad right now.
He feels bad to play, yeah.
You know, anti-heal being better now, tainted breastplates in the game, Ankh, Sunder. Yeah. I mean, there's literally everything against that god.
I used to love him in jungle, but even that doesn't feel good anymore.
Yeah.
His win rate dropped heavily as well. Like, it's still slightly above 50%, but it's still a massive drop for Vamana, who used to have like really high ones. He's at like 55, 56%. It's just super easy to punish in every way. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I think the big deal for a while was that he gets a shield in his ult, but Sunder is a thing, so...
Yeah. Getting sundered and onked. So you're taking, what is it, 45% increased damage?
Okay, to be fair, that's a lot of investment in terms of items just to counter Vamana at that point.
That is true.
But yeah, like, you know, you're right. Yeah, upgrade Ankh takes away half shield as well, right?
Yeah.
So you don't even need both. You just need that, basically. Yeah, like, I don't think he's like... Unplayable, but I'd say he's like B tier.
Maybe he's around where Bacchus is, Push is?
Yeah. Kind of like, maybe... I think would I rather have a Bastet or Vamana? That's kind of my thing right now, but...
Probably Vamana.
Yeah, but only by a little. Like in ranked specifically, I feel like you get more of a Bakasura than you get out of a Vamana. Like...
Yeah.
Depending on how well the enemy counter plays and counter builds, obviously, but... Yeah, not up there. And it's interesting, most warriors are doing really well at the moment, and Vamana's really... not in comparison to most others. So there's that.
Yeah. We could do the new god. Did you want to put time out in here? I guess it's hard to tell without her ever being played in ranked.
Yeah. All right. So we're just gonna make a prediction here. But the ironic thing is,
it's easy to put them and learn them.
Yeah. The ironic thing is that she would end up and learn them anyways, because I've seen some really good Tiamats and I've seen some really, really bad Tiamats.
Yeah.
Her win rate in casuals right now is usually bouncing between 48 to 49%, which is not particularly high. But it's worth keeping in mind that I think a lot of people play her a few times, don't like her, and drop her. So I expect her win rate in ranked to be a bit higher, since that will be the people who actually know how to play her. Because Tiamat just takes a few games to get used to. Like, you're not going to do well in your first game. I think her split push potential, if you learn how to do it, is insane. Yeah. It's and you can do it while being somewhere else. I did some testing with that. I'm gonna go more in depth in a future video, but just to briefly summarize that, her minions, if you go for a damage focused build, if you don't go like 2 bruiser, are dealing, like, if you get it so that you get 2 waves clash, and you get 2 of your serpents fighting that wave with you, and then push the tower together, so that you end up with 4 serpents attacking the tower at the same time. The serpents deal around 200 damage per second as long as basic attack protections are removed from the other minions, which means they can shred a whole tower in a single minion wave, because it's as much DPS as an ADC deals to a tower, roughly. A little bit less, but That's just insane. So you don't really need to be like, you don't need to be the best god in a fight as long as you place your serpents elsewhere before.
That's true.
And that's scary.
Yeah.
So I think that puts her relatively high in my opinion, but again, she's very hard to play.
I mean,
Where would you put her? What was your experience with her?
The times I've played her against, people that don't, really know what's going on, and she feels really good. But then when I've played her against, like, there are like counter picks, like walls do really good into her. She doesn't really have that much of a getaway. Like if you're starting a melee stance, your pushback can be walled really easily.
Yeah.
And if you're starting a melee stance, you can get CC'd really easily.
I mean, I was gonna say, if you're starting in melee stance, you're playing her wrong though. So
yeah.
You have to start in range stance because the leap is from melee to range, from range to melee, and otherwise it's just a dash that's very short. Yeah. So
I think the struggle is, I think sometimes if you are like full damage and you're using the mitigation passive, it's very hard to like. I haven't played her too much, so it's a little bit weird. But for me, when I played her full damage and I had like, let's say my like full mitigation passive up, it's very hard to know when like it's gonna break and to feel it, because sometimes it can break and you can just instantly die and you're like, oh, like I played that really badly, right? And it's like really hard to tell sometimes like how you can maneuver it and like stuff like that. So it is gonna be hard to tell. I haven't played her too much, but I wouldn't be, I would easily put her probably A+. I think she is definitely a sick character. She probably can be S. It's just hard to tell, I think.
Yeah.
Because there might be a million counters to her and nobody knows at like the top end and stuff like that.
Yeah. Apparently, this was not supposed to happen, but apparently some people claimed it happens that if you pull her out of her leap with a Willish, she doesn't actually swap stances and it goes on cooldown. She was meant to still swap stances. I'm not sure if this is true or if it's just some people that just had a glitch or aren't telling the truth. But if it's true, I think that would be a brutal counter. You have to ban her every game, basically, because you jump in or you jump away and you're gonna die every time.
Yeah.
Did you know that her mitigation actually have a visual effect on her?
No.
They have an effect which is the horns glow, which you will literally never notice in a team fight.
I was actually trying to figure out. Like,
she has got like this glowing thing in front of her head and on her horns. The only
I thought it was like her scales or something. I don't know.
You can see it a little. I think there's like a little bit on the sides as well, but you can see it if you play her. I think her legendary skin, because then it contrasts a lot more. But on the default skin, you just don't see it. You just don't know it. I think they should just change the visual effect of that. I think that should be like a whole body covering shield effect, and then it would be a lot more clear when you have mitigations and when you don't, and then you know when you have to get out, because it's like looking at a passive meter all the time while in a fight seems
very hard
counterintuitive. So I definitely think she's an interesting one, and I'm also not really sure. I mean I think she's more of a mid than a solo at this point.
I can agree
from what I've seen. But I'm also not really sure, like, if people are willing to play the passive early, play the warding sigil type of game, and just sit it out and then come into late game, how good she will perform from solo, which is basically what you do with like, or used to do with Amaterasu or with Nike. Not so much anymore, but So you can play her that way. It just depends a lot on how well the enemy team can abuse that or can punish you for that as well. So a lot of ifs still, I would say. And I found that hard with her from the beginning. I usually can place the guard quite well after a few games, and with her, it's just like, I have no idea. She could be anywhere.
Yeah, that's fair.
I do think she is more likely to be above average than below average, because she has a lot of utility anyways. Like, she has a stun, she has a slow or a knockback, and the slow, the bull is really good because it's an instant single target slow. She has the bunch of slows in the melee form. She also has a CC immunity in her ult in the melee form, which is only 20 seconds cooldown on base, which is huge in my opinion. I don't know why she has CC immunity there, but so there's just a lot of interesting things. But A+ I think would be around way place if she wasn't that hard to learn, and then see how she goes. I think for the first weeks, even in ranked, people will not like her, kind of like with Persephone as well, and then over time, she'll
get used to it.
Yeah, she'll acclimatize herself there. Okay, speaking of gods that people can't play, Yemoja. I don't even know how she does these days because it's the same thing every time. Like you see people pick Yemoja and just fail. And then you see other people pick Yemoja and do really, really well, and you're like, how is this god okay?
Yeah.
If you had to place her, I think we're going to place her and learn them because that's just what she is, but if you had to place her, where'd you place her?
What a hard character to put, man. It's actually really tough.
Yeah.
Because I think if you're really good at her, she's S. Just because, free shell, huge ult, free procs, stuns, you can solo backliners if you can get on them.
Yeah.
She does have lane pressure as well.
Yeah.
Maybe she's A+. Yeah, I think if you can play her, she's easily A+. She can be better than that easily.
I think what's really interesting for her is that she also is one of the gods that can really, really easily utilize Lotus Crown, which is such easy protections for your team with a shield and a heal. Like it's just, it's insane.
And if you have a healer, you're increasing the healer's heal as well.
Yeah. It's interesting. Her ban rate has actually gone down a lot because I think a lot of people have just accepted, there's a 1 in 10 chance that I get a good Yemoja on the enemy team, but I'd rather have them pick Yemoja and be bad at her, basically.
Yeah.
But I think A+ would where she would roughly be. Just put her here for 1 second. But at the end of the day, she's definitely a learn them god because I think, she's one of the hardest gods to play as a support, in my opinion. Especially because the CC, most other supports have a very straightforward, easy to hit CC to set up. And with her, you rely on hitting that one in the first place. Even with the ultimate, you want to combine it with your other CC. So it's a steep learning curve out there. Okay.
What about
let's do it just so we say the new name, A-Set.
E-Set, yeah. Your buff that was really good with her 3. I've seen people maxing her 3.
Oh, interesting.
Mid as well.
Okay.
Put 2 points in your 1, max your 2, and then put points in your max your 3 after.
Oh.
You have a lot of survivability that way.
Yeah.
I think she still runs into the problem that she always has, which is just you just kind of die. You kind of just get all in, so like late game, you just die. She's kind of an early pressure god. She's definitely an objective god. But if she's ever behind, she's completely useless. She has no recovery. I don't know. It's hard to put her I would put her below maybe bottom of A.
I think we can put her middle of A. I just looked at her stats. She actually has an insane win rate at the moment. She's not picked much.
I've seen a lot more support E-sets than I have mid E-sets.
So. Oh yeah. That makes sense. I mean, with a buff to her thing, like here, for Baba.
I put her under. Yeah,
that seems like
that's good.
Decent place. Now that we can finally say her name. Okay.
Maybe we just do. You could probably nail out Raijin Ra in similar fashion. I think Raijin, in my opinion, is probably the best mage right now.
Okay.
Back to being it.
I think he's definitely strong. But explain what makes you feel like he's the best mage.
I think he benefits from Sundering Axe really, really well. He has full pressure, and his all-in is really, really, really good. He has such a strong fight. It's absurd, especially if you're Thunder crashing in using his 3. You're just doing so much damage. I think he's really just up there with Scylla. You can deem him as better than Scylla throughout the early to early mid game, but then you can deem Scylla better maybe late mid game to late game. But Raijin still has an insane mid and or like late game. Like he does so much damage. Even though Ansai, I think it's pretty good into him. A lot of the times with Raijin, you're just auto attacking anyway, and you end up proccing it, or you're 2-1ing and you're out of range of the Ansile, or if someone's jumping in on you, you're just ulting any like CC or anything that's going on you anyway. He just has a lot of control as a god and a lot of pressure. I think he's easily like right up there with Scylla.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that. I haven't seen. I've seen him a fair bit, but I haven't seen him enough to fully have judgment on that. But I'll take your professional opinion. It's funny because I know like after his buffs, initially a lot of people said that he didn't feel that much better, and I was like, I think he does feel better, but
with Rod, I think this season especially, he's felt really good. Like once you get people below half, I mean, he literally just kills you. Like there's no way you can do anything. It's just really hard.
Okay, and then Ra?
For Ra, funny enough, Ra was mostly used last year as less of a healer and more for just pressure-wise, similar to like a Pose. So I'm actually curious, like, it's really hard to tell because obviously in ranked you can't really see how much pressure really brings, but Ra's numbers are still the same and he still clears as fast, and technically you can deem him as better than he was last year because Rod applying like if you're below half, it's applying increased healing as well. So it's hard to tell where he is. He does still have insane pressure. He does get all in pretty easy. He can proc Ansile very easy. That doesn't really hurt him too much.
Yeah.
He has a lot of damage follow up as well. Maybe he's bottom of A+.
Yeah.
Due to pressure
just to give you the stats here as well, he's literally just sitting at a 50% win rate.
Oh wow.
Middle of the pack popularity. He's just
that doesn't surprise me, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm thinking like maybe just front of A, just like
maybe above. Yeah.
Well, that's fine. I think he's a solid pick that, in the right matchup he's very good. And sometimes there's matchups that are not that nice for him.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I think into a Sobek might be a bit of a stretch factor at the moment.
That's true.
That like as long as your mobility allows you to get away from them, it's great. But if they have like instant mobility to catch up to you a lot, it starts to hurt.
Agreed.
Or like I don't even know how does he do into Fenrir?
It's hard to say. Sometimes he's actually pretty good because you can drop your heal on yourself and you just like one beat or like one ult, and you can like give him. I'm not sure how it is anymore. It's kind of, I guess it's just hard to tell. I haven't really played the matchup too much, so I'm not really too sure. But
fair. Okay, a front of A it is. Let's take the other Egyptian bird.
Yeah, Horus.
I don't think he's in the same place.
Yeah, Horus is Horus is more of a combo character than I think he is a character himself, in my opinion.
Yeah, true. I mean,
like you always want to combo things off. Like Horus alone, without combo stuff, like he's not really impactful. But if you like combo Horus with like Baron or Zeus, Perse, even Ra, Thoth, like stuff like that, like he's really potent, and you can deem him as like really, really good. But the god himself is definitely a struggle. You can't really like do a lot of things. But if you're really, really good with the heal and ult and stuff like that, like he is a very, very potent character. Obviously, he has quite a bit of counter matchups and stuff like that. But he does have a lot of pressure and he has a lot of damage. Things that you can get a lead with, like just 2ing someone off bat and his autos. You hit so hard. So,
maybe
know,
like
what do you think, like A?
Yeah, I'm thinking like end of A, maybe like like behind
maybe
above here.
Yeah. I think above Baba is pretty easy.
Yeah, like I would still say there's a like between Ra and Horus is a pretty huge disparity. Like this is the top end and this is the barely holding on to A. Because I think the healing changes also the healing anti-heal buffs will hit him a little bit again. He just doesn't shine as much as most other gods with the item changes as well. I think it's just like, they're all okay for him, but nothing that really stands out. So yeah,
Agreed.
He's just there. Maybe when Sentinel's Embrace gets nerfed more and other starters get picked up there, that could be interesting. Like if there's ever a time for War Flag or something, that would be really cool for him. But if. Okay, let's kind of. I'm trying to see if there's any like strongly worth mentioning characters still. Yeah, here Cyrus. Cyrus has been having a good season, I would say.
Doing pretty good.
He did use Mannequin a lot. It's not the case anymore, but he's still doing pretty good. He's not doing insane, but he's doing it's doing better than Bologna, for example.
Yeah,
and I think that's.
I was gonna say you could probably put him bottom of A+.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think he's. It's a good
I don't think he's as good as Camo, but I think maybe he's above Geb.
Yeah,
but
true. Yeah. Maybe it depends on how AMC goes. No, it's just leave him in the middle. But yeah, that's a good place.
Yeah.
Now we're kind of getting to the gods where it's just like, I
think Rat you can pull out as being good right now.
Yes.
I think let's see if we can try to pull out like Fafnir. You can probably
hang
pull
on,
out
hang on.
pretty good.
Let's okay, we just pull them all in here. Yeah, okay, Rat, Fafnir. I think Mercury you can talk about with crit stuff and everything.
Yeah, Ravana's been doing well.
Yes.
I think Cirquette's going to start doing well.
Interesting. I want to hear about that.
I'll talk about that. I think that's kind of it, though. I don't think there's any like standout gods.
I mean, Cupid actually is still pretty good.
Yeah, maybe some of the hunters, but as a grouping, let's just do these here.
Yeah. Look at the rest of them. Okay, Rat. Tell me about Rat.
I think this god's doing so well right now in jungle and solo.
I was gonna say I've seen him more in solo than jungle almost, right? At this point.
Yeah. Solo's doing the healing acorn or the double twos. Obviously, less healing acorn now that anti-heal is buffed again. But now he's just doing more double twos. I don't know the name of it. But double twos late game, literally one shots backline is actually so funny. Oh man, it is insane how good that is. I really think this god's just S, to be honest. He's so good right now.
Let me see what the stats are.
He's one shots.
Oh, his stats are going up a lot as well. He's getting picked and banned a lot more. I think I think with Ao here, like I think he's not the best S god, but
I think he's really good at, especially in ranks, because you can just hard dive and just kill people really, really easily.
Yeah,
and just get out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, Fafnir. Jake definitely loves this god. I think quite a bit of people. If you can hit your hammers, this god is really, really good, especially with prot shred and stuff like that. If you know how to use his ult properly, as well as like a zoning ult and stuff like that, he's definitely very, very potent.
I'll make this easy for you. I would put this god into learn them because
I agree.
The difference between a Fafnir that doesn't hit 90% of his hammers and a Fafnir that hits 90% of his hammers is massive.
It's plus on the top end, but yeah, he's definitely learned them.
Yeah, like everything about his kit you can easily use or misuse.
Yeah, agreed. For sure.
Yeah, so he's definitely good in the right hands. Yeah, I would say like around A+ probably. Yeah, and yeah.
And for Merc, I think he's good. I think the problem is you just get the late game and then you get shelled. Like, well, you go in, you try to one-shot someone, and then they shell, and you break it, and then the other person shells, and then you're just dead.
True.
I think situational, like he can really, really get around the map. Obviously, movement around the map and like ganking from like in between tier 1, tier 2 towers, and then going in and stuff like that is really good. Once you get to group fights, I really think it's hard for him to play due to walls. There's so many walls now. So it's kind of hard to get like that nice ult, like the really nice clean ult. Is it wrong if I put him A? What do you think?
No, I think that's fine. Like I'd say it's like either A or A+, depending on how you want to argue, because he has certain things in his favor and then certain things going against him. Like for example, he what's nice for him is that crit jungle builds generally work better now, but at the same time, what's not nice for him is that the starter upgrades aren't really that great for him most of the time. Yeah, like you said, walls make things weird for him at times on the new map. Yeah, I could see, like, you know, if somebody says, you know, he's a solid ranked grinder and he's A+, I'm down with that, but I'm also completely down with A. I think like front-ish A here. Definitely not a bad pick, but also not a Tsukuyomi or Fenrir or something right now.
Yeah.
And also not fun against the Fenrir.
Yeah, that's true. And I think actually Rob's really good right now.
Yeah.
I think he uses bombas very well.
Yeah.
If you want to go a little bit snowball, you can go Eye of the Jungle as well, and you do a pressure rev on like early game.
Yeah.
Play like pressure. But yeah, I mean, I think he uses bombas really well. Like 1 auto attack, 3 auto attack. You can ult into someone auto attack. Your buttons are reset. You can greed your 2 really easily, like holding it for like the perfect moment and stuff like that. And he does so much damage. Okay, he's really good into the top mages.
Here's what's weird. Raven is I completely agree with what you said, and I would have expected something different, but his win rate is really bad.
Really?
Yeah, it's 47%.
Interesting.
I'm not sure why. Like, he works so well with bombas, and he has the early pressure.
Yeah. He does a lot of damage late game to like squishes and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's good into the top mages being played. He's really good into Thoth, Perse, Scylla, Raijin, Hell. Like, he's really good into the top mages.
Okay, so what I can... No, never mind. Huh.
He's really good with Antile as well.
Yeah, and bruiser builds in general are just really nice for him, like shifters and stuff as well. It's just really good for him. I'm not sure what causes this. I'm literally looking at this and I have no clue.
In my opinion, I would put him A+.
Yeah.
Obviously statistics against it, but I think he's really good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put him at the end of A+, but I would have put him like towards the front of A+ without knowing this. I just wanted to see like how he does it. Apparently, well, sometimes you just gotta go against the statistics. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Maybe it's just like the mid game where he doesn't have bombas yet, and he doesn't have the super high early aggression or something. Maybe that's where he struggles. Because I guess a lot of games are still decided at that point. But yeah,
that's true.
All right, tell me about Saket. I want to hear this.
Yeah, so I know it's definitely weird, and Saket's this character that like sneaks back into the meta, like without anything really being changed. She just kind of like plops herself back in there. But last time she was meta, she built like, you know, Wing Blade. She also built like Relic Dagger randomly as well, and she didn't really build too much like damage items. She built like Arendite as her damage item, like obviously last season and stuff like that. Heartseeker. It would only be like a 2 damage item person, but like with Antile being really good and hybrid items, she should be really. This is probably like an SPL type of thing where she's like good because she's like utility based character and you can't really you know carry games being a utility based character.
Yeah.
Building utility based as a circuit anyway, that is. But in my opinion, I think she can easily like slide back in with Antile being really good right now and constantly being bought. Shifters is being bought quite often. Wingblade has prots on it now. You can probably fit an Arendite in there if you want to and just use it as like the procs and the CDR and stuff like that.
Okay, I have a counterpoint for you. Because you said like, you know, a lot of that tank build stuff was in the previous season, and since then her old scalings, I think it was, have been nerfed. So that tank builds deal a lot less damage. Yeah, the power. No, other way around. They decreased the damage and added physical power scaling. So before that, you dealt more damage no matter what you were building. But now, if you go into items like Winged Blade, you actually lose a pretty significant portion of your old damage, I think. But that doesn't actually add up with the numbers they put there. Because they said they added scale. Oh no, wait, it didn't have scaling before. Is that what it is?
It was true damage before.
Yeah, but did it have scaling with the true damage? Wait, they hang on. They completely turn it into physical power? Doesn't make sense. It says no, it still deals true damage, but it scales with physical power now. Which makes it sound like it would deal more damage, but that doesn't make any sense. maybe then it's not as well. It would still be a downside to build something like Wingblade because you're still losing damage like that. But in that case, it wouldn't really be an issue to build something like Shifters or Ancilla at least, because they still have power. And you don't need the pen if it's still true damage. So yeah, not entirely sure how that one plays out. But yeah, either way, if you go very defensive, then you lose damage pretty significantly.
Yeah. I would say she's like middle of the pack A. I think she is definitely a better, in my opinion, she's a better competitive character always than she is going to be a ranked character.
Another problem with her that I just find almost a design flaw is that her passive needs you to not basic attack, but the best upgrade for her is Bamba's Hammer. So you are either choosing to waste your passive, or you're using or you're choosing to waste your Bamba's Hammer. So whichever way you go, that kind of takes something away. And it's also really hard to make that snap decision, right? If you're damaging a tank, it may be worth more to just skip that one basic and get the percentage damage. And if you're damaging a squishy, it might be worth more to do the attack cancel. It's something that's really bad in terms of muscle memory, in my opinion, because you constantly have to switch how you attack, which no other character does that. And I think it's bad. I think they need to rework the passive at this point, but I think that's kind of a detriment for her. Her win rate is pretty bad. It's 45%.
Oh wow!
So
yeah, I guess honestly I'm not surprised. Definitely not the rank character. Even when she's good in SPL, she's not a rank character. So.
I'm kind of tempted to put her more towards the top of B.
Oh, top of B.
Because
I guess
I don't know. At the same time, there's also she could literally be in Learn Them as well, because she's a character that a lot of people are not playing right. I'm very unsure.
Honestly, you know what's weird is that you maybe even like now in the meta you could do like an OG crit build on Serket. I'm curious. I haven't seen anyone try it yet, but
you probably could, but I mean it's pretty high risk. I think.
Yeah.
I think it's just. I mean, crit works well, and I think she could work nicely with Rage and Wind Demon. That should be really easy for her. Or even more traditional, like you could go like either Rage and Malice or Rage and Deathbringer. I think that's possible. But then if the enemy catches on, or if they have no Willish or something, you're just dead. I don't know. I really don't know. I'll give you the final call here. Yeah,
let's just do top of B. I think that's safer.
Okay. But yeah,
I think you could put them and Learn Them just due to her, but I think putting her B is fine.
I think even if maybe another argument, like even if you learn her, you're not suddenly gonna stomp and ranked every game. Like if you're a good Serket, you can stomp and ranked, I'm sure, but B tier is situational and in the right hands, so that adds up. We'll see what happens once we have competitive games. That might change things. By then the starters will probably be changed anyway, so but hey. Cupid.
I think Cupid's still like S tier, in my opinion.
Okay, make that simple. Like I wouldn't say he's as good as Danzaburou. I'd say he's like middle of the pack.
Yeah, he's probably middle of the pack,
He's
heals, giant AoE, does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Just a sick character in my opinion.
Let's kind of see like how his win rate is, and his win rate is still pretty good as well, so he's just there. Interesting enough, we can do this real quick because he shows up right here. Chiron's win rate is up. How do you feel about Chiron middle at the moment?
Yeah, I think Chiron mid is actually pretty good right now.
Yeah,
I think you can. Your 2 spike is really good right now in mid, where you can outclear the other mid laner, and then you can get your dash and you just like run them down and get poke, and you get health advantage over them. You can get double mids and stuff like that. And he has a really strong fight due to his passive as well, being healing and giving him power and stuff.
What do you build in a mid build? Like how do you start that?
I've been doing it quite a different ones. I don't remember the one that I enjoyed the most. I can't remember it, but I've been doing like been doing some Death Toll, been doing some Hunter's Cowl, and then I'm just going like Berserkers or Trans Boots, Berserkers. Was doing like Fell Not Wind Demon then, but now not 100% how to curve it. I think it just depends on the hunter you're playing.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to finish the back end of it. I think for Chiron, maybe you want dominance just because it has physical power. You can do a lot of damage that way, and then get an oboe to make up for the attack speed loss.
Yeah,
something like that maybe. But I think it's hard to do it with it. I think mid hunter builds I think are pretty situational on like how the game's going, or people building a lot of health and stuff like that. So yeah, I think he's pretty good though.
Do you think he's above A? Do you think it's like A plus?
I think it's like top of A, in my opinion. And for mid, I don't think he's a good ADC.
Yeah.
I don't think he fits the ADC role really that well.
Yeah.
But for mid Chiron, I think he's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now we're getting to the bunch of hunters here. Oh god.
Yeah, I guess you could pull Rama and Cherno out.
Yeah.
And maybe CERN. Is that really? That's kind of all the hunters, really, right? I mean, not all the hunters are like the other hunters are kind of underwhelming, right? How is CERN doing? I'm actually curious.
Let me check. I actually don't know.
Because he got buffed.
Yeah, he got buffed, right? Yeah. He's doing pretty. Oh, he's doing pretty good. 53% win rate, 54% win rate. That's really high in Diamond and Masters. 57, 56.
Yeah, he does hit like a truck.
Wow, I didn't know he went up that much. He's literally every stat went up for him, basically.
Yeah.
Less death, more kills, more assists. Everything. Yeah, definitely doing good.
I would honestly, due to him being CERN, I would probably put him like maybe middle of the pack A plus.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair. I think obviously, you know, more stats like later on will probably even him out, seeing how he is and stuff. But I know, obviously, I mean, if the stats are showing like all arounds that he's doing better, like with the buff and stuff, then you know maybe he will be a good pick.
What was the buff again?
Summer stance.
Oh right, yeah, the shred and the damage by both are scaling, right? Yeah, I remember. Well, it is a lot for one single buff.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't think it would put him up that high though, to be honest, before that, because he was not really good before, and then just went there.
I think it's hard to tell if he's doing that well in rank, though. I mean, he's definitely a pretty good rank god just because he's a lot of damage. Yeah. He also has a lot of burst on his dash if you can play him properly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Chernobog.
And then,
the bog. I'm just going to look at the stats here because I don't.
I'm going to guess that his win rate is low because I believe a lot of people.
No, it's high.
That god.
It's really high. 55%.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm actually surprised. I see a lot of Chernobyls hard in with their ult all the time. They get behind and then ult into every single fight, and then they'll get even further behind.
It's worth keeping in mind that part of the stats here still includes fail not, because it's also from before the bonus balance, which I think helped him a lot.
I agreed with that for sure.
So I think it might go down a little bit, but probably not significantly.
Maybe he's top A?
Yeah.
Bottom A plus, maybe?
Yeah,
I don't know, it's hard to tell.
Maybe. Like, I mean, honestly, I think, especially because of Death Embrace, most hunters right now are pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta be a very specifically bad hunter to be bad.
Yeah.
So
I guess you can, honestly, I think Rama's pretty easy as well. I think he just stayed top ends, right? Probably just top A plus, to be honest.
Yeah, I would definitely put him A plus as well. I want to see quickly what
he's kind of stayed the same.
I was going to see where
he's kind of just there.
Where he's compared to the others. Oh, he dropped off a bit. Right? What?
Yeah, I think last season you would put him in like S easy, but
yeah. I mean,
now I think
he dropped off a bit. His win rate is like slightly below 50%, but his pick and ban rate is still pretty high. Maybe more like middle of A plus, but
yeah, you can do it. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Here, but it's just he's so reliable to play as well. Like,
and you know what you're getting out of a Rama pick.
Yeah. And Death Toll is really good with him because you can just get your mana back and spam your one all the time, basically. Like, you never run out of mana. That's really good. Yeah. Okay. Noah. We haven't touched that yet.
Oh, yes. The Archmage God.
Yeah, but Archmage got another nerf, so how are we feeling now?
Funny enough, I didn't really think this character was that good, even with Archmages, just because you had to get her to level 20 before she starts making an impact.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, obviously, once you get Archmages, she's a sick god, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's doing like 800 damage on your 4 key. You know, that's pretty good to everyone. But there's like a whole other pre-19 levels that you have to get her through, and she's definitely not. She's not. She's definitely not the god that you really want on your team until she's 20. Honestly, I would put her with like Agni, I guess, in my opinion. Anyway, I mean, I'm guessing your win rate's high.
Surprisingly low considering she's Noah. It's 51%, which is, she normally has a high win rate because, she has that AoE damage.
It's a whole 19 levels you got to get her through.
Yeah. I think that's an issue with a lot of guys, right? Like you look at wow, this is so good in late game, but what do you do before that? that goes for the Bamba's hammer guards as well, by the way. Like Bamba's dagger is trash.
I think that's like a problem with like Olo and stuff like that, where like his 20s is so good, but like you just can't do anything. Like, it's so hard to get out of it and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would put like, I guess maybe under Ardio, the Nuwa. I think Nuwa is under Thoth and Perse until she's 20, in my opinion.
Damn, that's a hot take.
It's hard roll.
I would have put her at the front of A, like just because I think she's also because she's very easy to work with, like
that's true.
You have an impact in late game by just ulting, and that's always going to be there.
You definitely can make an impact earlier. It's just like it's not really where she shines, right?
Yeah. So, I think it also like on the highest levels of play, she gets punished harder than below that, And if you can get to 20 relatively unpunished, then it makes things
you're chilling
a lot easier. Okay.
Trying to look down here, and there's not a lot of like gods pointing out to me. Pele, I think, is good right now.
I think she's solid. I don't think she's like OP.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe like
I think she's around where Rav is, to be honest with you.
Where? Who is?
Ravana?
Yeah, I would say. Yeah. Also around 50%-ish win rate, a little bit higher. Decent pick rate, yeah.
She uses always really well.
Yeah.
She heals a lot, so.
Yeah.
She's a solid pressure god as well, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. On the other hand, not so solid.
Ooh, yeah, tough god right there. Now that is the definition of a level 20 god.
Yep. I don't know. Like her win rate obviously isn't the lowest because some games just go long enough. She's still on like 15%, but it's the same thing as Bakasura or Arachne, where Shell just counters her really hard, and you really put your team behind.
Farming for like 90% of the game.
Yeah. And honestly, you run the risk of just having your teammates tilt over you not ganking enough and then throw the game because of it. I don't know if she's like is she an A, bottom A, or is she more of a B tier god?
Yep.
I don't know. I think she does more than Bakasura maybe in most situations because she has that ult and she has that passive.
Maybe she's top of B. I think she's better than Cerquette. Jeez, I don't know. You can even argue that she's not because of the like early game. At least Cerquette has like early game pressure and stuff.
No, I think we put it there. I think it's fair. I mean, it's like I think in like
Cerquette brings something else that Kali doesn't, and Kali brings something else type of thing, like type of trade-off type of thing.
Yeah, I'd say like like looking at Arachne comparison, Arachne is just a lot more stompy, has a lot more to do in early game, and Kali takes so long to come online that it can be harmful to your game overall, but
yeah, for sure.
When she gets there, she's good. But then there's also certain comps that still counter out. Like Heimdall, for example, is super frustrating to fight for her because you just get sent flying and then goodbye to your ult. So
yeah.
Naja is someone where for a while everyone thought that he's going to be broken because of his PTS phase 1 healing. That was interesting. He's definitely not broken. I can say that much.
I agree.
Bad win rates all around. Not really picked that much anymore either. Not banned. I feel like he's a nice counter in certain matchups, but that's all he is.
Do you think like under Agni?
I don't even know if I'm more thinking like towards the end of A. I'm thinking here like...
Yeah, that's fair.
It's just... If you get caught out...
You're dead.
You're dead. And you're not going to have any impact at all. And if your team doesn't follow up on your ult, you're also dead. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess hybrid builds being stronger helps him. That's nice. So there's something. But then he doesn't even benefit much from Ancile because most of the time you just, sashing into the ult or ulting and then sashing or something, and they don't even it doesn't even matter if they get silenced because you CC them anyway. So yeah, whatever.
What do you think, Kukulkan?
He's too boring. He's too boring to even.
Really? I love that gun.
I don't know, man. I just hate laning against him, and I hate laning as him, and that's all I have to say about him.
I think he's actually pretty good right now.
Okay, elaborate.
I've been playing him a lot recently with going like book boots, rod, deso, and stuff like that, and you just do a lot of damage. You give a lot of power. You're obviously, as before, you put like 2 points in the NATO and you max your one just because your one's the instant burst and like the poke, and your poke's like 450, 500, 550.
Yeah.
Your ult is a really good, like if someone's diving you, your ult is like really easy just to like get someone off of you, just instant kill them. And honestly, if you get to late game with Kukulkan right now with Sundering Axe and stuff, like you have so much consistent poke, and like corridors around like Fire Giant and stuff right now are really small, so you can nade off stuff really easily and you can control fights really well. And honestly, it's pretty easy to get big ults and stuff like that. And I think there's kind of more CC being played right now overall, which are benefiting from him. And it's pretty easy, I think, right now for Cuckoo to like trade his damage, even if he dies when getting all in from people. It's really easy for him to like trade his damage off and like kill the person diving him, or like trade his life and stuff like that. So I think his damage output is like higher and stuff like that. So I don't know. I would put him up in like maybe around where like Thoth is and stuff like that as one of those just like
air
characters. That's obviously personal. I enjoy playing him, and I think he's actually really good.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of Kukulkan players left, but I do think he's okay. I think he's under Thoth as a consistency. I think Thoth is more consistent than Cuckoo. But of course, one's artillery, one's more like just kill in front of you, so.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. Statistically, all of his stats are up a little bit, and he's on a 50% win rate, so I think that's a good place for him. I just don't like him. but you're 100% spot on with the area denial as well. It's like when I've played against him lately, like it's so often that you get zoned out completely in the jungle because there's a NATO there and you just can't get around it. It's rough.
You could probably put Susanna and learn them.
Yes. Definitely.
Pretty easy character to plop there.
I mean, I used to be a strong advocate for Susanna's auto attack cancels are not as important as people make them out to be, because there were so many people that were just trying to style on the enemy with as many Hydros procs as possible, not considering that sometimes just getting the quick damage off the one and an AoE off or something might be better. But now, because of Bombas as well as Hydros in combination, you have to attack cancel properly. And that alone takes a while to learn, and then the positioning, and then using the ult properly. Where would he be if we wouldn't put him and learn him?
I think he's pretty good right now. He benefits from a lot of the items.
Yeah.
I do think hybrid items hurt him when he's diving someone in the backline, but I do think his items are pretty beneficial to him. You can fit Titan really in with Bombas, giving you the percent pen that you probably usually need.
Yeah.
Maybe A+.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
If you can play him A+, pretty easy.
Yeah.
Especially with Bombas procs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like, statistically, he's performing a little worse, but that's to be expected because, like, he's not 50% because he's just not that easy to play. Not anymore, at least.
Yeah.
We're on basic attacking junglers with attack cancels. Daji.
Ooh.
I don't really know. I don't like her at the moment.
Historically, has this guy ever performed good in ranked, out of curiosity?
That's a good question. Let me check.
I don't think she's ever been like
She has. No, she has. Last year in 7.2, she was, well, above 50% win rate at least. She was at 52%. Okay. So...
she's definitely not a ranked character.
Yeah.
You're not really loving when you have Daji on your team and you're ranked.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, hey man, you gotta know what you're doing here.
Yeah. I think we can make this quick and painless. I think she's like around the same area as Serket, really. Where she does her job well enough if you're really good with her. Generally, you're usually looking at other picks, and her bombast canceling is also not as nice as some people think it is, because you can do it with the 3 and the 1. Maybe you get another 1, but you can't do it with the 2 because it takes too long. So you have to cancel your 2 if you want to do that, and then you give up a lot of other things. So blah blah blah. Not that great. Could be better. Could be Raven.
What about Khepri?
I think Khepri's good. I think Khepri's pretty good.
With a lot of divers being prominent right now, I think Khepri's going to be pretty good for anti-dive purposes. Yeah. Especially, I mean, even in ranked.
Yeah, he's doing really well statistically as well.
Ultra teammates, block. I mean.
Yeah, 54% win rate, high pick and ban rate.
I think. Yeah, Geb and Khepri kind of always been just together, right? I mean, they're kind of always like.
I'm wondering if I would right now if I would say if Khepri's possibly like even better than Geb, more like towards.
Yeah, I would, because Khepri has pressure.
So. Yeah, so maybe like.
I would put him like
Oops, no.
Maybe under the. I think that he's under due to they overall do more.
Under who?
Like under Ares probably.
Yeah.
I think Ares and Serb to kind of do more, but Khepri is a pretty good anti-dive character, and he has pressure. So.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of supports, we can also speak about this guy.
That's gotta be C. There's no way this character's doing good.
No, he's not. He's doing so terrible. I think we can just make this.
Honestly, man, that got so useless.
It's just awkward.
Wind up. His 1 is, I don't even understand the point of it. His 3 is the most annoying part of his kit. As a backliner, just leave him there. Leave him in the dust.
All I'm saying is they need to swap Kumba's 3 and Apollo's 2.
Yeah.
Then the game's balanced. It's instant mess versus this long wind up on a support. He just gotta hate it. He's a fun god to play, but kind of like Bakos, like a full damage build is funnier to play than actually trying to play him. Xingtian.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty good.
Yeah, good into the anti-healers. Or auto-attackers, sorry, not the anti-healers.
Yeah.
The auto-attackers.
He doesn't actually do that well. I thought he would be doing better as well. He's doing average. Yeah,
he doesn't have pressure. So going by NA ranked, slam jamming it is kind of the play. So. Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, I would put him next to Geb. Just because he's good against the AAers, and if you look above where he would be going, there's like a lot of AAers up there that he can team.
It's interesting. Like I'm wondering if I can justify it because he's not picked and banned that much, and he's like I said, not that high win rate.
You could put him top of A. Yeah, I think he's just good against the AAers and stuff like that.
Maybe like just good as a counter pick when maybe below Nuas. Yeah. I think that area should be good. Sylvanas, the meme of mannequin.
I do think he's actually pretty good. I guess with anti-heal buff.
Yeah, you're right. He's doing pretty well. So.
Yeah, once anti-heal got buffed, kind of rough scene for him. But he's pretty prominent with reinforced and everything like that. Once you have reinforced greaves, you kind of running around the map with like Lotus Crown and your 2 giving your procs as well.
Yeah.
Kind of a happy camper. Probably similar to where Xingchen is, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe
I was thinking like before this patch, he was probably more like Geb Khepri area, but I think now he's more here. I don't think he's bad. It's just there are a lot of not heal reliant supports that can help you in other ways, which
agreed.
A Sobek pluck or Khepri with everything or Geb shield. Even Emir wall, it's just like the utility might just help you more than a heal that ticks over time. Also, important, there is a change to an item next patch that might be really bad for him. We'll have to find out. is it Mail of Renewal, which procs this extra heal after 5 seconds. And it's not quite clear how it's going to proc yet, but if it works the way that sounds like, then he would literally, whenever he uses his 2 on an enemy, he would give that enemy a free heal from Mail of Renewal.
Oh.
So if that happens, I'm not sure if it's going to work like that, but if it works like that, that would obviously be a pretty big problem for him.
Yeah.
So we'll have to find out. But that would put him down, I think, a lot, because then every support could just run that against him and run into him, take free heals. And every solo as well. Okay. What about Hera? I haven't seen much of Hera, to be honest.
I think everyone comes in and asks, like, can I play Hera, or like, is Hera good? But I think with TTK down, her shield nerf, I just think this god's really bad right now. I think you drop Argus. Her like main early game pressure was dropping Argus with her 3, and her 3 damage just being so much. But I mean, everybody has a lot of damage, so you can kind of just instant break it. Even a support can break it now. I think it's just pretty bad, to be honest with you. I've been trying some stuff with like maxing the 2 and just being like CC chain, because it's not a DRable polymorph. So I think I would put her above Anubis.
Yeah,
more consistent than Anubis, obviously. So
maybe here before Mulan.
Yeah, I think she's just in a tough spot. Really hard to make that character work.
You just gotta combo her with Danzaburou and just do the double non-DR CC.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Just get a Danza jungle and just CC them until they're dead. Okay. Tell me about
Argus, I think. Oh yeah, post. That's fine.
Yeah, post.
The post treatment. Oh, I hate this character so much.
Wait, why?
That's coming from me, who played him like all last year in SPL and stuff.
I was gonna say, like, where's this coming from?
I've hated him for a while. I just don't think. I think the design of the character is just not really. I think he's good for the purpose of him being like a pressure character. Obviously, he's always gonna get you pressure. He auto clears waves. Once he has it like 2 points in his 3, he just one shots waves and just runs around. But his like late game feels really, really bad. It's just honestly like, I mean, his ult's not really useful. I mean, you're gonna crack at a frontliner, it's gonna do like 300 damage. Like you more become into like a tour kind of. I've tried the Bombas style build that I did with Kronos on him, and it has felt pretty good. It's hard to get like Pythags working on him again. There might be a build that comes out maybe that's like like Rod Boots, Typhons, Pythags, Deso Bombas or something like that. Just give him lifesteal, gives him the CDR from Bombas, and giving you the 30% pen or 40% pen, I guess technically, but maybe he's good with that. I think he's a solid A though. He still does his pressure thing. He does his pressure thing really well. He's probably top of A just because he is a full pressure god, and you can like hard abuse that. I think he's a really, really good rank stomper for mid.
Would you say he's better than Ra, or?
Yeah, he's more pressure than Ra for sure. So he kind of slams it. Yeah, I think that's a fine spot for him. He kind of does his job pretty consistently. It's pretty hard to make him not. I think if you're facing Ravana, you're gonna cry. But outside of that, Ravana Chang'e, I faced that before. It's just one of those go next.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay. I really. That's the Discordia. Just clear out the mages.
Oh man. You're literally just a passive bot with this character until like late game. And then when you land like a sick 2, you literally auto carry team fights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A sick 2 or a sick apple, and she's like sick, but her whole like early game is so unfun. I think she's a solid like right next to Agni, to be honest with you. I think they're both pretty balanced in a solid spot.
Yeah, her win rate is a bit higher than that, but I think it's probably honestly more variance than anything else. Like, I don't think she's actually that much better.
I think I think Agni is even more consistent than Disco. I think it's less Disco doing things for her wins.
Last mage.
Yeah, some little Vulcan here.
He got a buff not too long ago, right?
He did. Moswell and I have been trying to find a build for Vulcan to make him work. So far, the only thing that we found to make him like feel really good is going do more boots, Deso, Coin, Gem of Focus.
So just full movement speed.
Yeah, you're also slamming a wing blade in there, I think, as well. We did. It's just really hard to make him work. He's really good if you can get him going. Like if you live in team fights and stuff like that because you're like fast and mobile and you have a lot of like consistent like irritation factor.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, his ult's like impossible to hit. That thing is like so bad. But yeah, I mean, he's probably just bottom of A. He's probably like one of the worst mages. I think he's better than Zeus. He's going to be more consistent outside of like team comp wise.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I think that's a solid place to be honest with you. I think he's fine there.
Say, do you think he's better than Baba?
Yeah, I think Baba is actually better than him.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
Okay, we'll put him here.
Yeah.
We're skirting around the ADCs. Let's do the ADCs last. I don't want to do them.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, I feel like you could like, I don't know how the Hachi thing's gonna be.
Yeah.
I guess if you want to nail out like Hiorm, Terra.
Yeah, let's get the other ones out of the way just so we can sit in agony and think about ADCs. Let's do these first few, otherwise it just gets messed up.
Yeah.
Hiorm,
obviously, not a support god, solo god.
Please don't play him in support.
Yeah, please. How is he doing in solo? I haven't seen him at all.
No, he's just kind of 1% pick rate, 51% win rate. So when he's picked, he's doing okay. But I would say he's super situational and not really.
Yeah.
I would say he's B behind Kuzenbo, to be honest. Like.
Yeah, he's, yeah.
I'd rather play Kuzenbo in solo than I'd play Yom right now.
Yeah.
That's how far I'd go, and then he's not worse than that. He's not trash, I think, but it's just not his meta. That's all.
I think Terra though is actually pretty good right now.
Yeah, she's definitely better. She's probably gonna be bad statistically, but she's okay. So Terra has got above 50% win rate, which I don't think I've ever seen before.
Terra.
Yeah. Because actually she did for a while, never mind. But normally it's because she's just harder to play than most other supports, that she just doesn't do that well statistically, but people who play her play really well. But
put her around like Sylve, I think, right?
Yeah. I think we can put her.
It's fair to put her around there.
Yeah. Also nice for her that she can get her Lotus Crown really early now. That makes it really nice for like extra protection for your teammates that don't hinge on a Thebes being stacked.
She can Lotus Crown rush.
And she can freeze the first wave, which is really nice with the level 2 spike. That's kind of annoying to hit in some situations. She can like confirm that for herself, basically. That's huge. We got some assassins left here. Thor is bad. I'm just gonna say it. I'm sorry, but Thor is bad.
We're not doing too good.
I want to see his win rate. Yeah, he's got the worst win rate of all assassins. 45%. If you're really good at Thor, I don't think he's like C tier, but if you're really good at Thor, you can be good at Thor. But if you're not, like you can kind of work with Bombers in late game, and you can kind of go Bruiser, and maybe it's actually a little bit better than Bastet sometimes, but I don't know. That's it.
Yeah, I would put him there. Yeah, not really else much to say.
Yeah,
kind of there.
I think the new map is also not favorable for him because you really have to get closer to lanes to ult. Which makes his rotation slow, and that was a strong point. So yeah, what are you gonna do? Thana, on the other hand, I think is not that bad. I think he's better.
He's doing pretty good.
Yeah,
I think he's right next to Panther, to be honest with you, right now.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he's been doing really well.
People have been trying like super high pen builds with him with like dominance and stuff. That's really interesting. Otherwise, you can definitely go a Bombas build as well. So he's flexible in with that. And Scylla is really nice for him because you just dunk on someone and then they try to do something to stop you and get silenced again if they're not dead.
Hydra 1 one-shots you.
Yeah. So
2 autos, 1s die.
so definitely a fun one. And now we get to the very unfun part.
Yeah.
But at least I can pull out the Hunters tab here with their stats, and then we can see.
Yeah, I think. See, I would pull like Hachi out right now and just be like, terrible god, unplayable. But I guess they're fixing his pre-fire. I guess they're fixing him.
Yeah, this is interesting.
He can actually dash out of his ult, I think.
Yeah. Let me check. I'm pretty sure that it's next patch, right? Just to make sure. Yeah.
I mean, what I'm seeing is that it still needs to finish his animation, so you can't insta jump off of it.
Yeah, but to be fair, that's down from 0.73 seconds to 0.4 seconds, so it should still feel better because in the jumping down animation, I don't even know how it worked before. If you could cancel the entire animation, or if you still had to play out some of the animation, I'm not sure. Yeah. Well, either way, right now he is the worst performing hunter. I don't think outside of that, I don't think his kit is like particularly has particularly much to offer in the current meta either way.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, for sure. Even if you have that,
an Artemis over Hachi, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think he's like a B tier god maybe.
Yeah.
Just I don't know, just next to Anubis.
Around there, yeah.
Somewhere there. Artemis is actually doing well, I think.
We could just go in order here. I forgot we're all on hunters now.
Yeah, let's go through them all. I say here easier. Artemis has got a 54% win rate. I think for Artemis it's just nice that crit is an option again. Yeah. Artemis is a god that there's a ton of different ways to get a ton of attack speed at the moment, which is technically annoying for Artemis because she's an attack speed steroid, but that allows her to justify building Silver Branch, which most others can't. So technically you can start like Gilded Arrow and then upgrade that into the attack speed upgrade or something and go Silver Branch. So she has some nice path. At the same time, she's still Artemis. She has low mobility. She has...
Yeah, she can do
rough early.
I don't know, maybe around A?
Yeah, I think like lower-ish A.
Oh, lower-ish, right? That's fair. Compared to the other hunters.
Yeah. It's just she has a pretty good win rate when she's picked, but I think there's a lot of other hunters I'd rather pick than Artemis, especially in ranked, because you don't really have a team to play around necessarily, and that just can hold it back. He's probably bad. Let's see. Yeah, he's bad.
I've seen a couple more people be playing him still. Even with Failnoff nerf, people are still doing Failnoff.
Yeah, I mean, what's nice for him right now is that he counters crit with his passive.
Yeah.
So that helps.
Maybe he's the Agni of hunters. I mean, I guess.
I feel like I'd rather have an Artemis right now than a Houyi.
Yeah, that's fair actually.
Just putting it out there.
CC.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's put him at the bottom of A.
I think I don't know, like next to Vulcan, that kind of.
Yeah.
I have
Chang'e though, probably the consistent, balanced.
The Agni. Yeah. I think the last season shaved down a little bit on her lane dominance by just existing and not dying. But yeah, she's definitely good. Look, we have a row of these are the 5 most balanced guards.
Yeah. Yeah. There you
go. Dusa.
She got buffed recently, right?
Yeah. What was that again?
Her root is longer with her 3 or something, right?
Really? Like that. Is that it?
I think. I don't know.
Wait, I have to look it up now. I'm not sure anymore, but that doesn't sound like. Was it really? Is it CC longer? That would be crazy. That'd be something to work with if you actually read the patch notes and know that. Let's read them. No, it was the base damage on a 2.
Oh, base damage on 2. Okay.
Yeah, but only the higher rank, so it doesn't really do much at the start of the game, at least.
Yeah.
She's doing pretty well. I just don't know if that's like a Medusa mid thing or a Medusa ADC thing.
Yeah, she's probably always going to be better mid.
Yeah.
Because she has a pretty potent ult, and she's a lot of pressure. If you dash in, similar to Chiron, if you just dash in someone, you can get a lot of poke off.
Yeah, but I would say I would not put her as high as Chiron because Chiron's dash is a lot safer. Or maybe like here with Artemis, like
Yeah, you can put her around art.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fine.
I wouldn't necessarily play an ADC at the moment, I think, because it's just the laning phase is just not fun.
Yeah.
There's too much sustain for her bully potential to be really worth it either. Like, yeah, you can all in someone and maybe they die, but they will usually be so high health because of death toll that all inning won't work, and then you're in a bad spot. I want Neath.
Neath is usually the constant mid pick. I don't think you can value it off of ADC. Hard to say where she is in mid. I haven't played her too much, but she's kind of always the consistent hunter mid. She kind of always does her job. You know, obviously not the best late game hunter. She's good early game. She's good mid late game or mid game. You could probably put her where like Humboldt's is, maybe just for mid purposes only.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I would probably rather have a Neath mid than a Medusa mid.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we're valuing that.
True. Look, the only benefit, honestly, in Neath ADC is if you're running Noir and you just hard focus someone on the enemy team and just wipe them before the fight starts. But that's like a rare scenario.
Scotty, ooh.
I don't know. What does Scotty do these days?
The last time Scotty was pumping damage was when Bear went like the full shields with her. So maybe you see that again. Maybe you see that come out. I don't know. I don't think she's very good right now.
No. And even then, like, it's the other hunters have more than enough ways to counter that as well. At least for laning purposes, they can go Berserkers, they can go Archival, they can go Death Toll. They will survive.
Off of, the dog, right? You can heal off the dog now.
Yeah, true. It must be because it heals off everything, so it would make sense. Yeah. That makes it even worse. Yeah, I didn't realize that. She's barely even picked, so her win rate is not really relevant at this point. I don't know, like somewhere here. I don't know.
Yeah, I would just put her around there. I mean, she's definitely got the worst of the hunters for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe even Ullr's around there. I mean, Ullr's been struggling as well.
Probably. Let's see.
He's not really the crit guy. He's not really like he's obviously going full damage, one shot like macro. He's not really performing in mid.
Yeah.
That it falls off like much faster than it has before.
Yeah, I think
he's really not performing all around, to be honest.
Yeah, you're right. Like statistically, also not doing well. Yeah, no, not even picked much. So yeah. It's just not his meta. That's okay. He's had his metas.
The next ball, the man himself.
Wait, does he get his buff next patch? Did he get his buff? He got a buff, right? Yeah, he's getting his buff. Oh yeah, he's getting a really strong buff in my opinion.
Yeah, the dart damage.
Yeah, the dart damage and the amount of darts that hit the enemy as well. Like, not like the amount of ticks that the darts have and the amount of ticks that can hit you and therefore the damage. And the damage of that is, I think, some of the highest level 1 damage among hunters now. So, like some of it is ticking, so it's not instant, obviously, but still quick enough to clear a wave very quickly.
Yeah.
I think that'll help him a lot.
You could say he's like top of A for safety.
Yeah, I think like right now he is on 50% win rate exactly. So I think with that buff, he could be.
Yeah, he could be above
here.
His prediction type of thing.
Yeah. If it doesn't work out, doesn't work out. But I feel like, I mean, outside of that, he still has his ult, right? His ult is always going to be good. It's just
definitely an annoying ult.
Yeah. And especially in ranked where you don't have comms necessarily, it's just
for sure
brutal. And that's it, because we already did Danzaburou, because Danzaburou is in here twice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That was almost 4 hours.
Long tier list.
Let's see. I gotta get it on screen here so we have all of it for once. Okay. Let's quickly have a look at the changes just to see if we forgot something from 8.2 or 8.3 that may be impactful here.
Thor got a 10% power scale. Doesn't really do much.
No, that's on a 3, right? It's on like the last hit or something as well.
Soul got 2 seconds longer on her passive, which doesn't help her kill frontline.
Yeah. Horus is getting 2 abilities with reduced cooldown. That could be interesting.
Yeah. Maybe we did put Horus in a pretty good spot then.
Yeah, I don't think it changes much about him though.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a setup god. He's not really the character on his own type of thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have that setup more option. I guess more often. I guess that's good. But I'd rather wait and see what happens with that before I assume that does anything.
You might see Zeus more often with Vamshot being buffed.
Oh wait, what is that buff?
It's being buffed in power, and it's cheaper.
But but it's nerfed at the same time. It's the health restore gets nerfed, which is pretty huge in terms of.
Yeah.
I really don't know if that's a buff ultimately. Like the protection's going down and the power going up is nice, but losing the
just
extra
because it's cheaper and it helps you clear. That's pretty much it.
True. Wait, where did we put Zeus?
Put him in B because he's just a team comp character.
Maybe just put him towards the front of B just to see how it goes. Maybe like maybe here.
Yeah, you would see more often with it, just because now and then as well. You could in theory go like tank boots with Vamp Shot as well.
True.
And go like just like a Rod Rush, like the old build where you go tank boots and just Rod Rush type of thing.
Mm-hmm. We also have the new items. I don't think Son of File will matter on anyone, to be honest, so far, because it's just really weird. And Man of Renewal, again, we have to see how exactly that works with dots and everything. It could be really insane against certain guards, or it could be really trash.
Agreed.
So we'll have to find out. The jungle items get pretty drastic changes, in my opinion, but it's really hard to say what they'll lead to because... Like, we haven't seen many gods utilize mannequins in its current form yet, so we'll have to see how good the sustain is and how effective it ends up being before I want to make any judgments out of that. Like, it could help AA gods, for example, but Shell is still a thing, for example, and same with Eye of the Jungle. Eye of the Jungle might actually still work in lane if you just, like, hop into the jungle in between to sustain, but who knows. War Flag buff doesn't do anything, I think. Cupid change doesn't really do anything. It's just a visual thing. Yeah, Mulan gets a bunch of buffs, which could be really good. Could be, but it's...
I think it's like how the top end uses it. It will trickle down into the lower end, seeing how people use it and stuff like that.
Yeah. It really is a question of how effectively it can be used. Like if you, for example, can cancel the knock-up early and still get the knock-up, I think that, like you said, that could make a bigger difference. What is huge about is... Actually... Hang on. Maybe we could put her up in A. Because I just realized that increases slow on the 2 as well, which could be really good for jungle.
Oh, okay.
I haven't really been able to make that work on PTS, but it could be that because it's such early aggression potential through a 3-second slow. For like level 1 kill potential, level 2 kill potential. Maybe just put her here as a prediction. Could just go.
That's fair.
Down, could go up. Who knows? Really hard to say because of so many changes at once that could be more or less impactful. Yeah, AMC we already considered. Thor gets a buff, so Porsche gets a buff. We considered that. Loki gets another buff again, but we already mentioned that.
That's a prediction on the top.
Yeah. So we kind of have them all covered now. All right.
Yeah. We're woot.
That was something.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for joining me for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Plug your socials. I will link them down below as well.
Right. Do you want me to do it now?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
You can follow me at twitter.com/Venenu_. I post a bunch of updates there and what I'm up to and everything like that, as well as youtube.com/Venenu as well. I upload daily there at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can go follow me on Twitch as well. I stream daily there at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, twitch.tv/Venenu_.
Again, links will be down below.
Enjoyed the video. I had a lot of fun doing it. Thank you for having me as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It was super fun. Thank you for coming on. As we know, some people always skip to the end and want to see the results. Quick disclaimer, if you want to know why a god is placed somewhere, then make sure to skip that point in the video. We always put them in the learn them tier when we were placing them, except for the hunters at the end. They were just put down here. If you're wondering about where a god in the learn them tier would roughly fall, we've done like approximations for if you're good with this god, where they would be. So you can skip to that point of the video and you'll find out where they are roughly. So you don't have to be too mad at us. You can be mad at the Persephone placement if you want to. All right. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching. And I hope to see you for the next one soon. Dixloth, out.